Hello, my little motherfuck faces. My precious little motherfuck faces. It's Validation Boy. Live stream. December 4th, 2017. Can you believe it's already December? I remember doing the first show of 2017. I mean, it was a lot of fun. I remember doing it. And we're already at the end of 2017. It's already fucking here. So per tradition, we're going to do the first 5 in live chat. Okay. And at number 1, a channel you should all subscribe to. I left a link to it in my last video. I leave a link to it in many videos. If you're not, just click on the icon here while the show is live and you can go straight to his channel and subscribe. It's Andres, Andrzace. And at number 2, we had, who was it? Am I tripping? Oh, of course I'm tripping. And at number 2, Rob S. Honor to have you, Rob S. And at number 3, Flat Earth Bastard. And at number 4, Emma Leishman. And in at number 5, not really a newcomer, but someone we don't see all the time, Flat Al. Good to have you, Flat Al. As a lot of you have heard, this is the place to be. Validation Boy is always on the cutting edge. Validation Boy is always 2 steps ahead, in fact. Hold on a second. I'm so far ahead, I need to adjust something. Hold on. Too much airflow coming and hitting the microphone. Had to adjust that. Sorry about that, guys. Now, it's an honor to have you all in here. I'm always 2 steps ahead. I'm the first ever no wrench flat Earth live stream. I am the first person to introduce the idea and really the process, how to do it the right way, which was going after the top brass of the flat Earth. I'm the first ever shill buster in the flat Earth, really, that mattered or actually produced really good shit in the name of shill busting, even though I was wrong about a lot of the shit that I had said back then. Not all of it, but a lot of it. I was still way ahead of my time. I was talking about flat Earth on the internet in 2011, 2012. Let's see what else Validation Boy started up in this scene. Validation Boy started the Intangible argument, which affects any and all debates that happen in flat Earth now. Especially to the listeners of flat Earth debates who know what the fuck's going on and have heard my voice when I talk about these things. Now I'm the list goes on. There's a lot of things that I've done first in flat Earth, a lot of things. But as it stands right now, I am the first to call out the creeping gynocracy that is now starting to infiltrate the flat Earth. The gynocracy is bigger than the globe lie. As I said in my video called The Ugliest Truth a couple videos back. You guys should definitely check that out. In fact, I'll link that one below too. It's one of my best videos of all time. It's the conspiracy that is bigger than the flat Earth. It's a hidden conspiracy that has led people to start wars, has led people to kill, led people to kill themselves, led people to do all kinds of crazy, horrible, and crazy good things in this world. It's the symbiotic balance between male and female in this life. Okay, this goes big. This is bigger than our cultures. This is bigger than our nationalities, our races, our traditions. There's always one tradition that holds true, and that is the placing of the females upon the hidden throne of society, something I like to call the gynocracy. It's an unseen conspiracy. It's an unseen hierarchy. And like I've said many times before, yeah, there's a patriarchy. Some people want to call it a patrix. And all it's ever done is exist to serve the hidden gynocracy that lies behind. Okay. Apparently it's Twitwit's birthday. We've been joined by Twitwit in the chat. And I said, hey, Twitwit, how old are you today? But of course, she's not going to answer because hidden gynocracy. You don't ask a lady her age. Why? Gynocracy. You need to go open the door for her. Why? Gynocracy. See, a lot of you out there are wanting to paint me as some kind of angry guy that's hates women or is bitter towards women. Obviously, women are not a problem for a guy like this, okay? So y'all, obviously, you know, the thing is, I'm in a very, very long-term, as of now, very long-term relationship. 6 years. Past 6 years now at this point. With a very, very intelligent woman who I love deeply and appreciate and cherish. You know? And she was watching, you know, I went back today and I watched Flat Earth debate number 45 from Nathan Oakley's channel, just with the volume off, just to see what people were saying in the chats, in the chat. And Cathexis said that VB is his spirit animal, which was like the best fucking comment I've seen in fucking, what, months and shit, man, months. That is the best comment I've seen in a long fucking time. VB is Cathexis' spirit animal. But no, people were in there. You know, Rebel was in there just doing exactly the things that Validation Boy claims that, you know, collectivist women do, behaving the exact way that I demonstrate, you know, when I talk about things like that. The female mindset, the male mindset. Doing all the things that we would expect, and my girlfriend just sit there laughing at her. She's like, oh, look at what this dumb bitch wrote this time. Oh, how predictable is what she was saying. It's like, yeah, you're right. Super fucking predictable. But anyways, like I said before, you women, when I talk about female nature out here, you women out here, you get all triggered. You get all butthurt. My woman doesn't get triggered when we talk about this stuff all the time. She knows women that are like this. In fact, she says that pretty much every woman she knows, except for a tiny, tiny handful of people throughout over the course of her life, not even people she knows now, but over the course of her life, there's a tiny handful of women that she knows, that she's known, that are not these ways, that are not programmed, or they've been programmed, because everybody gets programmed. We get programmed, but they don't act on that programming. They defy that programming. She's known only a couple of them. So she agrees. She agrees with every single thing that I say. So it just shows how much she shits all over all you women out here. And it shows that I'm pretty much correct in the things that I say. She didn't like it when I said something about women don't produce anything, because she's talking about, well, what about female songwriters? What about female, designers, and engineers, and all this stuff? It's like, yeah, okay, I could see that. I could see that. But when we talk about female nature, we're not talking about those few, except those few and far between exceptions. We're not talking about them. We're talking about the vast majority, which includes most of the women all the women listening to this right now, unfortunately. Except for if my woman's out there listening right now, but I don't think she is. The chat's blown the fuck up since I've started. I'm just completely freeballing it tonight, but you know, it's good times. Twitwit says first, and it's my birthday, so I win. Andres has joined us. Schlaminger. Pet my cat with those two. Someone I'm not sure about yet, but they seem pretty okay. Exposing flat earth shills and other conspiracies. Made a video about Validation Boy. We'll talk about it later. I'm gonna link his channel below so he can have some subs. You guys go sub to him. I'll grant you that, bro. I'll dole it out for you. I'll distribute some subs your way, little buddy, and you can thank me later. Flat Earth Bastard, Twitwiz, Shill Scanner, 72nd Human, Cathexis, Nathan Oakley's Dresser. Hit that super share, everybody, I guess, yeah. Tony Vince, basically the Canadian cuckboy. And then another one, Paddy's Cow Brigade, also the Canadian cuckboy. And Vulnerable Boy, who's also Canadian cuckboy. Non-schooling, I've seen you around. You need to get, oh, you do have an icon finally. Eugene 12. Pet my cat with those two says, I'm safe, man. I just tuned in to watch the show. It's all good. Head upside down head. Oh, yeah. VB with the flames. Nice, bro. Vulnerable Boy. The only thing you are demonstrating is the mindset of a shill. Cathexis says, hey, non-schooling, you ever figured out that the Earth is concave yet? Or have you figured out that the Earth is concave yet? Oh, man. All right. So, yeah, I'm not some angry guy, you know. I was angry with Curved Water, and I was talking about how he is in the collectivist, leftist, feminine, divine feminine fucking mindset, and I was raging on him in a debate, in Nathan's debate show. But women out there who are programmed to be narcissistic, like all women are, take any kind of jab at any female and internalize it. Take it all in, because what women like to do is play the victim. So if another woman is being what they think can be called victimized when they're just being called out for something, and so they're going to take that woman, her plight, put it on their own shoulders too, so they can be a victim too. Okay. Now I'm trying to explain female nature very slowly over a long period of time to you guys so you can understand. I'm giving you snippets every time I do a show. Victimhood, perpetual victimhood. And it's not just women that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the female mindset, which most dudes actually have too. Pretty much all women, except for a tiny handful, tiny set. All women, pretty much except for a tiny handful, have the female mindset, and most men now in the leftist, cuckerized, blue-pilled, fucking West. Yeah, all those men are female mindset. They're all collectivists. They're all strength in numbers. They're all no rugged individualism, no free thought, no original thought. That's for damn sure. Let's fucking start right there. No original thoughts whatsoever. My fucking screen's too low. I think I'm gonna need to sit up for you guys. But anyways, yeah, no original thoughts of their own. Collectivist, perpetual victimhood. Eugene says, without man, there is no woman. No, that's for damn sure. Pete Mars says, LOL. Twitwit says, this should be interesting. OJ McBaggins has joined us and says, whippy dick and titty sprinkles and all that. So here's the thing. Yeah, women are always trying to play the victim. It's a state of slavery for most men in their own homes. And that goes down to the very thoughts that they're even allowed to have, let alone things that they're allowed to do. And it's all done in the name of and for the sake of protecting the children, providing for the children. Because, of course, children can only come from one place, right? That's right. The gold-plated vagina of the hidden gynocracy. That's why women are allowed to be placed on their secret throne above men. That's why they are allowed by men and placed by men on said throne. Okay, this is a big, broad generalization. And the thing is that, okay, women out there are going to take this personally because of their vanity, their inherent narcissism, their need to feel victimhood because of the advantages that perpetual victimhood can bring you. Jews. So because of their narcissism, because of the fact that they're doing this, when I talk about this, they're going to keep I feel like I've said all this before. I feel like I've said all this before. But damn it. It's hard going live without anything that's specific that you want to talk about, except for a small handful of things. I'd like to elaborate on this greatly, but I mean, we end up with guys like Curve Water and Mark Taylor. We end up with cuckerized men. It's such a tough subject because these white knights out here, they're loyalists to their master. They don't realize how brainwashed they really are to begin with. And they defend like blindly. They defend any gold-plated vagina that appears in any room. Okay, they defend it to the death with no reward for doing so. And they do it gladly and voluntarily, thinking that it validates them as a man. That's what makes me a man. I'm able to protect the women. But then women want to cry and complain about how they're equals. It's a very basic conundrum that everyone knows on the face of feminism, you know. You say you want equality, but do you really want equality? Okay. They don't. And the thing is that this episode, I decided I'm going to bring in the term agency, which I heard another YouTube content creator use. Agency, or taking responsibility for the things that happen to someone in their life. And it all ties in perfectly with the fact that women will internalize other women's plights, internalize them, adopt them, become them, try to act like they are them, so that they can keep their position. Now, the sad thing is that men have to be lied to perpetuate this hidden gynocracy that exists in the West, you know, and really in the world. It's really a worldwide thing. It's not even limited to the West. It's pretty much the worldwide thing. Men need to be deceived. Now, I'm trying to enlighten everybody out here, especially the men. Okay, and I'm not saying that you need to go your own way and leave women behind. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not MGTOW. I'm just saying that in your households, certain things probably need to be maintained and put into check. And you might be neglecting your duties to yourself as a man over time in your own relationships. Okay? Some guys don't want to be in relationships. Some guys do but can't. Some guys are in them and don't want to be in them. It's crazy. There's all different kinds of people. Okay? But if you're a guy who wants to be in your relationship and you want to reap the benefits of your relationship with a woman, a very big thing you're going to have, very big hurdle you're going to have to get over is the fact that your woman's probably not going to take agency for anything that happens to her ever in her life, especially after you have officially become daddy by marrying her and whatever. Because at that point, it's like, you know, women are basically children at some point. A lot of them, most of them. Land Without Judgments joined us and says, yo. It's not going to happen, okay? Perpetual victimhood is something that you're always going to have to deal with. Men out here, I'm trying to wake you up so that in your own lives, you can put things in check. Because trust me, it is what your woman wants. No matter how scared or intimidated or fearful you might feel when dealing with your woman, fearing that you may push her away by taking the alpha position of the relationship. If you don't catch on to what I'm saying when I talk about those things, then you're really clueless. I mean, you are hopeless. I mean, if you can't do what needs to be done, you don't deserve to have certain things. Right? I'm not, and people want to say, oh, I'm angry at women. He must have been hurt by some woman. His mom must be crazy. I was raised in a normal family with 2 parents who stayed married until my dad passed away. Okay. My parents were more than loving, but they were also smart parents who didn't spoil me. They were the ideal. I mean, they were the ideal family. So you can't try to say that I have some kind of family psychological issue. No, I've been in a 6-year long relationship, and I've been in long relationships in my life, mostly. Not like this, okay? But so, and my woman agrees with everything I say and laughs alongside me, even brings up points to remind me of things that I can say in my live streams. And she just gets a huge kick out of it. She gets a huge kick out of everything. The guys who are stooges. She really thinks it's funny when the guy's white knight. She's like, look at this fucking douchebag. Look at this loser. What does he think he's getting out of this? Why would this guy even care to defend this person, that person, that guy? And it's like, I know, babe. Fucking fucktards out here. Okay. Let's see. I'm out here to bring this stuff. Gilded, gold-plated platelets. 72nd human. Yeah. Oh, Robert says, have fun with that. Oh, man. P-Mar's talking about how he masturbates and shit. Man. Disgusting, bro. Yeah, Cathexis says, just keep taking the beta position, P-Mars, and let your man be the alpha. It's better that way. No, P-Mars isn't gay, but he is looking to beta cuck himself out to any alpha female out there that's willing to whip that little boy into submission. So P-Mars, he is available, ladies, and he's probably going to stay available because he has no real estate value or marketplace value at the moment, especially the way he's acting right now. Well, no, he is manning up. Actually, P-Mars is manning up, talking about MGTOW, talking about recognizing some shit. But, when a woman steps in, gold-plated vagina steps in, that crown, it just hovers right over his head because he's bowing to it, P-Mars can't escape the Matrix, the mother, the Mary, the matriarch, the Matrix. He can't escape the Matrix. Okay. And any patriarchy that ever existed was here to make life easier for that very matrix. I've said it 1,000 times, but I'm going to say it, many, many more. So P-Mars thinks he's slick with the sunglasses. Shield Scanner says P-Mars, prostate stimulation doesn't count. Oh man, disgusting trolls of the flat earth. The motherfuck faces the validation boy live stream chat. Only those who are truly brave can show up here. And then, you're also going to get Shield Scanner and, other channels. Maybe not Shield Scanner. I don't know. Vulnerable Boy and shit. You're going to get ridiculous channels out here that are too chicken shit to just like show who they really are. Because those are all really just other people's sock accounts and shit. Most of them. I've noticed that Flat Earth Conspiracies and other conspiracies, whatever, shills, whatever the fuck that channel is that I'm going to link below, they're long gone right now. Because I told them I was going to go ahead and shoot a couple subs their way. And they can thank me later. And that they're my bitch. She's my bitch, bro. Just kidding. You're not my bitch. But one day you may have to become. I may have to put you in your place. Like the way I put Flat Earth Reset 3 in his place. And the way I've been putting Marmar Queen in her place lately. Yeah, Marmar Queen. Y'all, I don't know. So, came out with my last video on 11/27. Told Marmar Queen that she should check it out. I think she did. Because in that video, I officially proposed it, officially. I'm not sure if it was there or not. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was there. That the globe Earth represents the pregnant belly of the mother Gaia belly, not a testicle, not a ball. Okay, it's not a patriarchal thing. It's a matriarchal, hidden gynocracy thing. And that when you believe the Earth is a globe, you are a worshiper of the gold-plated vagina and the pregnant belly globe ball of the Gaia Earth, which has never been proven at all. And that the flat Earth provides rigidity, stiff. It's a platform for things to grow from. Okay. And that, of course, something as big as the globe belief system, if that could be pushed, then the hidden gynocracy could be pushed just as hard. And feminism was a part of the hidden gynocracy. It's almost like the false flag distraction arm of the operation. People can go in, it can start a bunch of shit, and people can go and attack it, you know, feminism. But the real agenda of the hidden gynocracy reigns supreme and pushes forward. And it's all about deceiving the masses. Now, if you can deceive the masses into just like, you know, perpetuating this system where women just get the red carpet just for being a part of our societies. They just get a red carpet, okay? To maintain that, you need to push them so far that you get them believing that the place that they live on even looks like a pregnant mother's belly, okay? And that it's Mother Earth, okay? The Earth's not fucking female, okay? You know, male things can grow things too. It's not just Mother Earth that gives life and growth to the flat Earth, okay? Flat Earth is not female, okay? The globe is the pregnant belly of the Mother Earth. And Marmar Queen now takes that, stops talking all that shit about over-empowered feminazi shit, stop saying her ejaculating Jesus stuff, her disgusting pejoratives about male sexual organs and shit like that, and comes out with a real clean video, relatively for her, clean video in these regards, as far as male bashing goes, and says that flat Earth is the motherboard. So obviously she watched my shit, and it's her response to what I'm saying, that the deception is not just the globe being a lie, it's the entire globe Earth being the pregnant belly and the hidden gynocracy and the gold-plated vagina. You know, the poles, the North Pole and the South Pole, okay? Notice how nobody has access to them. On Mother Earth, you can't get to her holes because they're protected by the military. You know what I'm saying? Do you guys not see what I'm saying now? Gold-plated archways of divinity, right? So the globe is female. There's no motherboard. Because if it was a motherboard, then that means it's just a control panel that's being run. Okay, well then what is controlling? What's doing the controlling on top of that motherboard? I guess a patriarchy? So you're already lost it right there, Marmar. Motherboard. So obviously she watched my shit. I'm sure she'll claim up and down that she didn't, but it's quite obvious that she did. Otherwise, she wouldn't even be talking about these things. Okay. I'm going to take a short break, guys. I got 33 people viewing right now. Okay. I'm going to take a very quick break, and I will be back very soon. Stay with me. So good to have you, man.
What's up, man? I don't know if you can hear me yet.
I got to put the headphones on. I didn't come prepared.
All right. Yeah, it's usually really low at first for these headphones. I don't know why it does that. It should get louder. Should get louder.
Word.
There you go.
Man, you came in so quick. I should have thought this out better.
What's up, man?
I just got to grab headphones. Can you hang on for just a second, man?
Yeah, you're good, man.
All right. I'll be right back.
I'll give a nice little statement to the audience listening. A big shout out.
Feel free.
Yeah, man. A big shout out to the hyper cuck, intellectually deficient Sakar Face TV, who obviously is incapable of thinking for himself, and is reliant upon other people to, kind of tell him what the shape of the earth is. He doesn't know what research or understanding is, or how to even, I guess read. I don't know. He's funny. He seems like a nice dude, but he's just a complete piece of garbage every time, he's around people that he disagrees with. Shout out to Ed. Shout out to my Russian handler, Shill Scanner. Big ups. He's got well, we can't get into our, arrangement, but he's my father. He's also 33 years old as well. So, and then all the other Twitwit, happy birthday. Big ups to Twitwit. Seriously, big ups. I heard she's 33 today too. My Alpha Boo, Rebel. Much love. Shout out to Shroomy. And oh yeah, and fuck you, Captain Bullshit. Shout out to They Lie, Ohio. And yeah, there we go. I think I got everybody. And happy birthday, Shroomy, apparently too. Apparently it's his birthday too. So, anyways, everybody check your paradigms and axioms. Get fucking ready. I think VB's back. Mr. Intangible here is gonna blow your fucking mind.
You think I've been blowing some minds lately, bro?
Well, you know what? I'm serious, man. I didn't get into it before, last show with the gynocracy stuff because, we had some people come on and like I was in the middle of making a point, but like, you're not wrong exactly. Like there is this hierarchy that's almost like an invisible aspect. Men are so. I mean, I remember growing up in the first like early 20s because I worked some corporate jobs and I was up at a higher bracket financially. And something I realized really quick is if you got money and you got status, you got woman. It's just that simple. Yep. It doesn't matter. I knew the goofiest, ugliest dudes that were able to get some of the most amazing women, and the good, intelligent, hardworking, like just honest, decent human. The whole phrase, nice guys finish last. All this stuff, right? These memes exist for a reason. It's because there's that element, and I think you go a little too hard, but you're making a point. What's the best word? You're making a point dramatically. That's what I would say. You're dramatically making the point. But yeah, it's there. There's elements here. There are elements here.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think it's next level thinking to declare, I don't know where it came from. I just had this thought and I was like, wait a second, the globe looking like a pregnant belly. This conspiracy seems to overlay all things in life. I mean, it's like the perpetuation of the human race. We wouldn't even exist without this conspiracy being in place. It's like it's a really big deal, man. And I don't even know if you can even call it a conspiracy even per se. It's more like an axiom or a paradigm shift that happened at some point, or that's always been there. And then like maybe paradigms shift around the necessities of the times so that axiom can maintain its position. Maybe that's a better way to say it.
What about the notion that since women are, and of course this is heresy today, but women are need protection, that we being the stronger sex and the ones who are more able to work and do and provide, that we are to protect them. Nowadays, it's like we're not in the wilderness anymore. If we were out in the wilderness, I think you may have a different opinion on the matter. But like, you think maybe now you've gotten so used to social justice warrior cucked out society that you're just like, I'm done. I'm going after the gynocracy. You see what I'm saying? Like, do women have less physical capacities than men?
Well, here's the thing. There used to always be this 50-50 symbiosis, and women had it good. They had it made. But now with the cultural Marxism that's being impressed into the paradigms of the day, that balance is being offset, and there are women out there that are just buying into it, and they're because women are inherently genetically, I believe, collectivists. What happens is that they internalize anything that happens with another woman, and they take on the victimhood status of that woman as their own as well. And you won't see men doing that. Men don't do that. Yeah, men don't do that. And so, and I'm trying to even refine it some more. There's a male mindset and a female mindset. Not even just women are this way, men are this way. Because my woman thinks a lot like a man. She's very logical. You know, she's awesome, man. It's such a pleasure to be with her and to talk to her. Like, you know, I never have been with a woman that I want to talk to all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Before her.
That's
So it's
interesting.
like,
So
yeah.
now we're talking kind of gender roles in that regard. What do you
Yeah.
think about the psychological notion? It's usually in like the Carl Jung archetypal concepts of that we both, every man, every woman possesses a ratio of masculine energy and feminine energy.
Now
And yeah, go on.
those masculine and feminine energies, I would argue that instead of saying energies, what he means is behaviors.
Sure. Yeah, I guess you could say that. But it's more of like an impetus towards behavior. It's not necessarily, I mean, you could categorize them after they're done as behaviors, but it's more like I mean, you have the testosterone and then the estrogen aspect. Like, it can go, you could kind of notate it chemically. But you think
Yeah.
that it's just the behavior?
I don't know, because it's like what we were talking about on the show. It's like, is the act of thinking that you want to kill someone the crime, or is the act of killing them the crime? You know, like, where do you draw
Yeah.
the line? Or you know, the act of wanting to do XYZ versus the thought of doing XYZ.
Well, what I mean by pointing out that impetus of the feminine energy and a masculine energy. This, in my assessment, up until recently, because I had never even heard this gynocracy perspective until recently from you. The way I looked at it is that these are the culture creators like Tavistock and all these other groups, manufacturing through cultural Marxism and through collectivism and progressivism and etc. They're masculinating females and demasculinated males through the process of culture, through the process of even chemicals. I think we talked about this last time. I think they're going so far as to doing this with phytoestrogens and other chemicals that we've been subject to. But do you think that might have an element to it as the cuckery continues?
I mean, I think the cuckeries head down that path, because what's going to happen is when the women start feeling over empowered and they start thinking that they can actually do some of the things that men, you know, humbly do, you know, and men start acting like they can do some of the things that women humbly do. Things are going to turn out weird, and people are going to feel humiliated. People are going to be embarrassed of themselves, you know, and I think that's the whole point, is that they want everybody so confused so that when women actually
Yeah.
do try to go to that next level, it becomes this like, this ridiculous situation that's just sad and depressing all around. I mean,
But
I don't know
what do you,
but like a tragedy and shit, right?
so what I
They're
think
just
that you
setting up
might be,
tragedy.
I know, and I agree, especially as more of this confusion gets played out. So you think that there is almost a toxic feminine, feminine. Well, I don't know how to put it. Um, you
You,
think that the gynocracy that exists is essentially the feminine energy that is toxic, a toxic feminine energy. And I'm using the word generally, but I mean not really. Like, because
yeah,
I would say that wars and murder and aggression, that is toxic masculinity. When I hear someone like Marmarguine, who, mind you, I think that she seems like a lovely person. I know you have your issues, but when I hear her talk about patriarchy and toxic masculinity, I understand that those words have been kind of put and adopted by the feminists and whatnot, but that stuff does exist to some degree. Wouldn't you agree?
well,
Like
not
toxic
necessarily.
masculinity?
Well, okay, so let's see. Toxic masculinity, toxic femininity. I mean, now see, I hate to even label it. Now that I've gone to the level of saying it's the female mindset, or the feminine mindset, and knowing that there are women out there that do have the male mindset, and that most men actually have a female mindset, you know, you can't just say men are this and women are this. It's hard to, you know, especially with all the gender bending and the homosexuality and all the craziness that's going on these days, and just general cuckery just implanted in society, even on straight people, just the cuckery that exists inherently. It's hard to hone it in on one thing or the other. But see, when it comes to toxic femininity, the only things that I could say would be toxic about femininity would be biologically inherent, genetically inherent things about the female that no woman can escape, you know,
Right.
because of the fact that they give birth to another human being.
So
Wait.
Oh, sorry, go on.
So therefore, they're in this position where they get to parasite off of all the hard work that all the men have always done. And I don't know if it's nurture or nature, but over time they've just learned to hone that skill. And then now there's makeup, and now there's romance novels, and there's love songs on the radio, and there's movies like, you know, To If by Sea, you know, like rom-coms and shit. Okay. And like all this shit is there because of a creeping web that's learned to manipulate and parasite, you know, down to an exact science. Like over time, they've just learned, and the feminism has aided in that. And it gets even more complicated than that too, because now there's even women out there like Rebel, for example, saying I'm anti-feminist. Well, anti-feminism is the new feminism. You know what I'm saying? There's women out there that are getting this red pill of information and are saying, oh shit, these guys, some of these guys are catching on. You know, my man might actually realize that I'm really just trying to get him to knock me up so I could quit working and shit. And just have the state pay for it or him pay for it or whatever. And that's what most chicks are out there doing, bro. It's sad, but that's what's going on. And like, so they're like, oh, my man might figure it out, and I see him on this shit. So they start like trying to modify their behavior, you know, act like it's cool, you know. Like, you know.
Well, yeah, I see your concerns, and put that way, I agree, because we're talking more on like the socialized level, right? Like things that because you've described what I've experienced and observation of like women in modern society, like here in the West. I would agree with that, actually. I can't disagree. Of course, there's good women sparsely, but it's a very, very rare ratio, I would say.
And to answer an earlier part of that question, I wrote it down because I'm feeling good right now, if you know what I mean. And you said that like wars are part of toxic. No, see, I would argue that women are in the position they're in. This gynocracy exists. Men are rewarded with what men's biological drive, what men are enslaved to. We have that biological drive. And that's why women are able to hone in and manipulate that, because it's I mean, that's society. That's all the jokes that you hear and all the stand-up routines. It's about that kind of stuff. It's true. I mean, you know, that's life.
Sorry, my alpha boo rebel just said, okay, you all can go fuck men. I don't care.
Yeah. See. So she's almost like Canada Cuckboy. I consider Rebel right now bordering on Canada Cuckboy level trolldom, where they're just completely delirious and delusional, making stuff up in their minds.
She's trolling the shit out of us. Listen.
She control. I don't care. But listen, no.
The argument.
There's a whole other.
Okay, go on.
No, really.
I want to be able to make my position clear. I don't want to, because I know
it's a very touchy topic, man. I know it's like the touchiest of topics.
Well, it's not that. Look, look. I understand your point of view. I do. I really do. And I think that you may be onto something, but because the way I'm looking at this is like a societal level view. Like, remember last week when I was on and I mentioned, God forbid, I mentioned the word patriarchy. And remember, I had to define it. I'm not talking about the nonsense that a feminist speaks. When I say that, I'm speaking of historical context of patriarchal structured society. Okay, the masculine represented only as all the prophets through the Bible, the heliocentric model being put forth as it was because the sun is the masculine and the moon is the feminine. Even the earth is considered the feminine in Hermeticism and things like that. This is where we get that notion of Mother Earth, right? So, I mean, there is a structure that has existed, and it does exist, and there has been matriarchal societies, overtly matriarchal societies that existed, okay? And you look at somebody from, I'm going to say like Marmar Queen, not Marmar Queen exactly, but someone at that level of thinking, in my vision,
the gynocracy is a toxic element that exists, but what behind all of it, there's this eternal order. You see what I'm saying? And it kind of transcends all these different groups and stuff that you're talking about right now. I'm not trying to like take your
Well, I
argument
would
or what
say
you're
it's
saying down at
groups.
all.
It's more like social impetus. You know, like
Okay.
a direction based off of who's in charge at the time. Now you're saying you're going one more level of conspiracy and saying even though it looks like it's patriarchy, there is a higher level that they are serving, and they may not even know about it. They're so mind controlled by the vagine that they can't even understand what it is that they've just done. That's what it seems like you're saying to me, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And see
And that's what I'm
that
saying. That's
plays
an
into
interesting thought.
that's what plays into the point that I was trying to make here. Now you were saying that wars are toxic masculine energy. Now the thing is that wars, the male energy that's put into war is actually proactive, healthy, normal, and what is to be expected masculine energy, because men would fight and kill other peoples to spoil them so that the women that they protect, the woman that's the queen of his house, that golden plated vagina that he is on that Pavlovian reward system with, okay,
Yeah.
he's doing it for her. Okay, really.
Okay. So let's go.
And
We got
see,
to
so
touch on
really,
this for a second.
think of the Trojan War. Think of Helen of Troy. Okay.
Yeah.
So that war was started because of a woman, and all wars are started because of women. Every single war in history has been started because of a woman, if you really think about it.
Okay. So yeah,
And,
and that's you hear this
and
in
women
throughout
are
history is women, money, and land.
resources,
Like are
resources,
the three things that
resources.
wars are fought over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
And it's
now what about the aspect of violence? Let's go back down to like a local level, not wars and such, but violence in general. Violence and aggression. You could I think it goes a bit too far to say you're still able to blame women. This seems to be an attribute of unhealthy masculinity.
well,
Is this yeah?
masculinity is present in a lot of females out there. There are women that beat on their men
Well,
and shit
sure.
like
Oh
that.
no. I'm not saying there isn't. Like I said, that's the reason why in the beginning of the conversation I said each individual has a masculine and a feminine within them, and it's just depending on which side is more dominant. So, like, let's just go back to the note, just treating each of them individually, right? The energy, not the individual. Toxic masculinity ends up in aggression. Even if women are doing it, they have too much masculinity and they could be expressing it in that way, right? So
That's what they're
this
being
is what I'm
programmed
saying.
to. Women are being
It sounds
programmed to
like
show this overt kind of masculinity, and it's unhealthy and unnatural, and it doesn't make logical sense, and that's why the social order gets fucked up.
okay, but
And
but
credit,
here the let
consumer
me just
debt,
ask this real quick.
all of it, man.
Vivi, because look, let me just get this out. It sounds like you are taking no responsibility in the column of masculinity, and you're blaming everything, including toxic masculinity, on toxic gynocratic, feminine energy. Like that's what
Yeah.
it sounds like, unfortunately.
Oh, it's not unfortunate at all, man. Come on. I mean, let's be real with ourselves. See,
Bro.
men allow that woman to have the upper floor of the slave plantation dedicated to her. That's where all the finer things are. That's where all the Tiffany jewelry and the housewares are. That's where the quarters are downstairs, and that can get
What did I
flooded.
get myself into, guys?
I mean, I'm just
Daylight,
saying,
Ohio. Why didn't
Cathexis.
you warn me? look, I can't disagree. Look, these are real social issues that have to be discussed. I am with you on that, okay? And I just slightly disagree to the length that you go with it. I think it's a good, interesting point, though. I've actually never heard the word gynocracy before until you said it like a week ago, and it makes sense that could be an element of control that exists that we don't see, and we do see this in our day-to-day life as men moving around through this Western society, right? If you are in this desire to get into a relationship or have a beautiful woman or whatever, you have to play these games. You have to jump through those hoops. That is established currently, right? It's just the way it is, unless you got a bunch of
Gynocracy.
money and then they come to you. But then you're still
Yeah.
playing some other game.
It's still a game that's
So
being played, man. Oh God, is it still being a game that's being played? When the guy has all the money and the women come around and they manipulate this and that from him, and they're willing to share those men. Usually they know that the guy, has like 2 or 3 mistresses on the side. They don't even care as long as they get theirs, and that they're the number one bitch, basically, and they get like the finest car. They get the Benz, and then the side chick gets the Toyota kind of thing. Those women are
Yeah,
it's
it
like that, man.
exists.
It's resource hunting, man. And see, here's the thing, bro. Don't get all scared and think that I'm like pulling you into some hate club or something, some like hate speech group and shit. I'm just saying, like, we can't even blame women for this activity that they've been programmed to behave like. We can't
Yeah,
even blame them for it. So it's
institutional on a level
yeah.
that you can't even like easily discover. Okay,
Yeah, and it's
like I
being
get
used.
it.
Yeah, and it's being used female natural collectivism for the protection of the race and the children. There, that biological impetus, as you said before, it's natural. So so when that element gets played upon by the powers that be, that's the situation we end up with. So we can't even blame the women. But see, a lot of women out here are getting real cocky. And it could be the chemicals in the food, in the plastic bottles. It could be. And it could be all kinds of other things. But, mostly it's just words. And mostly it's TV and what women are being shown on television. Because you watch some TV shows, man, it's just ridiculous. They got like, the 80-pound girl throwing around the 300-pound guy, hitting him with a tombstone pile driver and shit, And it's like, okay. And I don't know, man. It's just, there's all these ideas that are being pushed into society and these little subconscious things. And it's okay for women to have the power that they had and being the queen and the micromanager of the household for all these eons or whatever people want to believe, years and years and generations and generations. It's only natural that the female is the manager of the house kind of situation, and the man is the one that is the hunter and the gatherer,
Well,
and it
okay.
works.
Let me ask you this then. What about a team? What if there was a gynocracy and what would you
Patriarchy.
call a patriarchy? Let's say it was a patriarchy and a gynocracy at the same time, and it was understood, communicated, recognized, and something that they just understood. Is that something
That's
that
what
could work?
Well, that's what always has worked. I said this in another show. It's like of course, there is a patriarchy. Okay, it's there. Everybody knows about it. But what people don't realize is that patriarchy has only ever existed to serve its hidden gynocratic masters.
And you know what?
Always to make life easier for the female. Because think about it, the upstairs floor of the plantation was reserved for the lady of the house. All the finer things were up there. Okay, it's just that's the way it goes. That's life, man.
I can't disagree with that. I think that a lot gets lost though from people who are listening who don't see specifically what you're saying, right? Because from all the way from the ground level all the way to this highest level of gynocracy that you're talking about, there's a lot of questions along the way, right? People could talk about violence against women. People would talk about what women do to men. People could talk about institutional level. You know what I mean? Like there's so many different spots that have to be kind of communicated on that I think
Divorce
this is very
rates.
this is such a difficult topic in general.
No, it's not difficult. It's not difficult at all once you realize what's really going on. It's a very simple situation. What's happening is that women are biologically predisposed to nest and to hoard. So the system is attacking them over like stirring them up, making them want to go into all this consumer debt, making them want to always socialize and fit in, always be very conformist to each other. Women like to look the same as each other all the time. That's why fashions and fads exist. They're always putting up a smokescreen. They've refined their way to manipulate and coexist in this thing. Now, what I was saying earlier is that there's a patriarchy that exists to serve, or not really to serve, but to make life easier for their gold-plated vaginas that they want to have as their prize. So really, and they're allowing them to have it. Okay, now the men are allowing, traditionally the males have allowed this, and it's been a symbiotic relationship that actually does work and is actually just fine, But now the men aren't allowed to be the men that they were before. And now this is what's happening. You see what I'm saying?
Now, let me ask you this. Do you think
Now
that
this
there are
is
any
what's
men,
happening.
do you think there are any men who, if they know it or not, have been impervious to this, have been able to see this for what it is? And I mean, you've said there's errors in the MGTOW, which I think so. Do you think, though, that there may have been along the way just men who understood this and avoided it and prospered, but still took care of them in a beneficial way.
I would say,
Because
you
I
know,
think women, I know I know that it's controversial to say this, but I think women need men in a different way that men need women.
oh
And
yeah.
so to pit us at odds and make an enemy out of each other based off of an idea like that, I think would be bad for society. Right?
Wait, to pit men and women against each other by using what divisive term? What do you mean? Is that what you're saying?
Well, what? Yeah, like pointing out this gynocracy. I mean, I'm
Well, no, no, no,
afraid
no.
that.
I'm saying no, no. I'm saying it used to be this symbiotic relationship where the woman actually was on top, you know, but it was okay, you know. It was like whatever, we got this. And now that someone is telling that
Okay,
upper
has there been a
hierarchy, this gynocratic,
corruption
yeah, there's
even
been a
more
corruption
so?
there, and now
Okay.
it's pressing down. It's pressing
So,
down
so
on the
you think it was
patriarchy.
feminism? Do you think it was feminism back in the '60s, and this third wave feminism is coming in now that's causing the problem?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely.
And see, when they interject feminism, it affects men too in many more ways than just one. It's just a kaleidoscope effect. It can affect a man by his woman gets over empowered and becomes, you know, irrational, affects his life and his relationship and his children's lives with her. Then there could be the mother that comes at him from that angle, and from all the different angles a mother could come at a son with gynocratic thoughts and expectations, if you will, you know. And there's all these different things that can happen. There's all these different ways that
So,
feminism can destroy not only the man, but the woman who's been infected with it. And then
what do you?
when
What's
she's
our
infected,
chance? Do
when
we
she's
have a
infected,
chance?
when she's infected with this kind of thought, she's, you know, she's fucked. And then what she's putting out is then poisoning men in all kinds of ways in her life. Think about the way
Do we
that the
have?
father.
Do we have a chance, VB? Like with the way things are going, because I see this cultural Marxist, social justice warrior type of identity politic being pushed all over the West right now, especially in academia. And this is where the problem lies, because those are the people who are going to be running our institutions in 10 years, unfortunately. And they're having little social justice warrior meetings and safe spaces, and all their men are cucked out and vegans and, drinking soy milk all day. Like, I see a huge problem on the frontier.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
see, I mean, are we fucked? I mean, I don't know. I think that unfortunately MGTOW. Well, what MGTOW was meant to do was to actually turn the world on its head again, which would only really just be restoring order and balance to the way things were, where there was a hidden. Um, see, when there was this symbiotic relationship where the woman was really on top, but it was still symbiotic because men allowed it. I wouldn't call that female presence at the top a gynocracy at that point. I feel like when it starts infringing on the um the expectations of the men,
Okay. Okay.
that's when it becomes a gynocracy. And I use that term as a pejorative, you know.
So how do we reverse course? I mean, honestly, I look at the MGTOW stuff, and it looks like it was either created by people trying to do population control, to damage family units and make men not breed anymore, or it was to create some pseudo homosexual movement. That's the way I look at MGTOW. But I understand the ideological, philosophical lines in it, because a lot of the stuff they say is not wrong, but it's obviously not going to do anything. They're laughed at. I mean, the whole concept is laughed at for the most part. So
I think
how
the
is this going to change?
I think the most PC way to look at MGTOW is not necessarily that it's going to cause population control or it's going to suggest that men are gay at all. It's neither of those things. It's what it's saying is that they intend to make a difference in their lifetime so that they can reproduce with women, but with women who have been put, back into their old position, which was actually on top. So they really can't bitch and moan all that much. See? And that what they hope is that women, they can take men and make the men feel as though, you know what, I'm not going to commit myself to some woman out here who just wants me to knock her up and then wants to flip it and divorce me, get 70% of my shit, and then make me pay child support. And then if I don't pay, then I either go to jail or the government pays the child support, you know? So they got it made. And a lot of women out there are just parasites like that. And they'll like make a guy fall in love with it, because to a man, love is one thing, but you know, love is a different thing to the female mind.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, I'm
It
not
really
going to make,
is.
it's two different things that are happening there in any it's very transactionary. Sometimes, a lot of people's cases, sadly, sometimes you do find someone that you actually like are in love with, you know, but most of the time it's just a transaction. And a lot of the time it's women weaponizing their vagina basically and using it to control a man and reward a man. And you know, you find a guy who's thirsty enough that and be like, oh my God, this guy really is falling in love with me. I got him hook, line, and sinker. He's my bitch.
And speaking of that weaponization, Twitwit here says, what do golden vaginas have to do with flat Earth? And I would say that they're intangible in general for men.
That they're what?
Just trying to make an intangible joke. Golden vaginas are intangible.
Yeah, but that's true. That's true.
Twitwits
there is no such thing, right?
But yeah, I understand where you come from. It's a very controversial topic. You're gonna get you're gonna trigger a bunch of ladies, that's for sure.
No, I'm triggering mostly men. I'm triggering mostly men, right?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. I've seen some. Usually cocked ones. The ones who
the whitest of nights.
Yeah. You're getting them.
Well, okay. I wanted to keep the show within like less than 30 minutes from right now. But I want to talk to you about the refinement of the intangible argument on a very serious level, scientific level.
Sure. That's what, yeah.
I know it's hard not to talk about the cuckery and the mangina blue pill action that's going on in the scene and shit. But see, I mean, people have heard me say it about 20 times now, so I'm not even going to repeat it again. But I'm glad that you have the guts to come on here and talk with me. I think you're like really like the first person to come on solo and talk with VB about this very topic. I mean, that takes a lot of guts.
Yeah, I don't know if I knew what I was getting myself into. No, I'm kidding. No, it's fine. I'm out here. I love talking with people. So, and you're my spirit animal. So it's like, I don't agree with a lot of your methods. I don't agree with most of the things you say, especially on these topics. But
yeah, you do.
I get down with VB because you're gangster as fuck. You just say whatever the hell you want, and I can respect that truly. So, but yeah, the intangible argument, it is in fact effective. Back when I first got into this, what I kept noticing is everybody would always, when I was trying to ask questions about how to prove the sphere, etc., everything was always about looking up, look at the sun, look at the stars, look at the equinox, look at all this. And I started early saying, like, why am I going to look up to tell me what down is doing? There has to be methods I can use on the ground that can determine, the shape, size. And there is, I mean, if you have some theodolites and some working knowledge of them, geodesy or geodetic surveying, supposedly you can do that. It's quite expensive, and you have to have some specialized knowledge. But outside of that, it's hard to determine. You're looking at images, you're looking at video, you're trying to determine what you can see and measure curvature and whatnot. And so the reason why they say the lights in the sky are effective is because, well, I don't know. It's like, I understand. Here, I'll put it this way. I understand why they say it. But like the sphere came from astronomy. It was essentially Copernicus that made the first institutionalized spherical model where we were flying around the sun. Before that, it was only just an idea in philosophers' minds, right? It wasn't institutionalized in any significant way. It was an idea that was formulated in astronomy. So the reason why the lights in the sky are so important to their argument is because when you understand the angles that these lights make in the sky, they do point to a sphere. I've heard it said that the Earth is telling us we live on a flat Earth, but the sky is telling us we're living on a sphere. And I can't deny that. That seems to be the case. Now, there could be, that could be based off of how our eyes work, which is this spherical, this sphere of perception that we see around us, right? We have this local sky. It's like a local celestial sphere, right? But it's very difficult to, you know, argue against all of that, because if there is a deception built into it, you're not going to be able to dismantle that. They're not going to listen to you. So how do you find out? By looking on the ground. So with you coming up with the intangible argument, hey man, it works. It stops them in their tracks. And if you don't let them go past that, they don't have much. That's why I think it's slightly effective.
Yeah.
Go on.
It is a bit of a roadblock, because it's like, well, then you're getting into existentialism and stuff, and you're talking about assumptions of what is physical matter, and do you know whether or not the sun and the moon really are like actual physical matter, or like what kind of matter are they? And that being said, you don't really know where they exactly are, because you know you've never been up there.
Yeah, and
Those are
that's
really
another thing. There's an actual light, and then there is the light like the we see. Like you've heard that with the sun. There's an actual sun, and then there's the sun that we see, right? Because of the refraction of the atmosphere. So we don't even know the exact place of the sun, the exact place of all these lights. Refraction moves them around quite a lot. But in astronomy, it's well understood their locations to some degree. Like they can expect them at certain points and whatnot. But yeah, like I don't know what these things are. I know they're lights. I heard the one thing that you guys are getting into about what was it? Not microwave, radio waves, right? And you said radio waves are tangible because you can put a receiver right where it's supposed to be coming to, and it tangibly receives that, right? Sunlight, it's not the sun. And that's something I wanted to come on and say that to Curve the other night. He was trying to say checkmate because radio waves, but he was missing the point. Sunlight is not the sun. All right. Sunlight is tangible. You never said sunlight isn't tangible, right? It's the sun.
Exactly, man.
Yeah, it's the sun as to where it is, because we don't know where it is exactly. The sun, like I said, it's got an actual position and it has its visible position. And that's a known thing in astronomy too. So I can see where you're coming from. It's a strong argument for to block them up. It is. It just is.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that really matters too, because now because I think that the rule can be used algebraically across the whole equation now, and that's why I say it applies to the whole sky. And when I say the sky, what I'm really saying is the sun itself, the moon itself, and any alleged celestial object. I'm not talking about any satellites. I'm not talking about anything else like that. And I believe that when I say that when I say that these things are intangible, they're outside of our reach. And these lights that we're seeing, because of the fact that they could be somewhere else, because of we don't really know exactly, that's what makes it all intangible, right?
I mean, you can't touch them, you can't feel them. Some people would try to say it's tangible because you can see them, though, which is more of an interpretation of the word tangible. Intangible really means you can't physically interact with it. You're
observe it. You can't empirically observe it.
Well, even that too. I guess you're right, because you're looking through so much atmosphere. The thing is it blocks them up so good they've got no other argument from that point. They're just like they get mad at you. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, but see, now I want to take it to the next level and ask you this. Now, okay, is seeing light, let's just say light from a lamp in a room. Okay. You see that light with your eyes. Now, does that light physically, is light matter? Is light hitting your eye, setting off whatever electrical charge that it sends off to the inner, black mirror that's inside your consciousness that sees and lives life. That's where the movie is playing, is deep inside your brain.
Yeah.
Everything you see, touch, smell, all that, it's all inside your brain, deep in there. And then that's where the movie is really playing out. Your eyes are acting, you know, they're seeing the light there. But is that light physical matter? Is that light touching you?
See, this is interesting because in modern physics, they say it's both a wave and a particle. And they call it well, some refer to it lovingly as a wavicle. And this gets into the, the quantum explanations of it. They claim that the speed of it is well understood. I think it's like 176,000 miles per second. And they claim they can collect photons on a plate, and that's why the quantum thing gets weird, because when they observe it, it turns into a wave function. Or no, it's the other way around. When they observe it, it turns into particles. When they don't observe it, it behaves like a wave. And so the way that modern physics explains it, I think, is in error. And they decided on that explanation back in the Copenhagen retreat in I think it was back in the 20s, if not early 30s. And this was Einstein and all of the physicists back then. They didn't know how to interpret some of the new technologies of observing these quantum mechanics. It had been thought of as a particle for a very long time. But when it started showing wave function, this is where you hear this term, the wave particle duality. They just said, well, it's both, which doesn't really make any sense. Now, the reason why they went in that direction is because Einstein pulled the ether off the table. That was a huge element of this, and this applies to cosmology, this applies to light, this applies to our whole existence. That pulling away of the ether forced them to come up with this dualistic explanation, which doesn't make sense. It's one of the only things I've ever seen in science that has some weird dualistic. This is why people say quantum physics is very mysterious. Einstein even called it spooky action at a distance. Doesn't make sense. But I think it doesn't make sense with the way that they forced it through, the way they explained it without the ether. So what's happening when light is getting to your eye? Is it instant? Is it traveling through the ether? Is it a particle? I don't think it is, personally. I think we're dealing with another explanation that hasn't necessarily been given to us. So it's very hard to say.
The thing is,
our retinas are receiving energy, is the best way to put it. Like, they are receiving energy.
So does energy have mass then? Because like, does light have weight? Does light have mass to it?
No, it doesn't. If it did, then a camera would get heavier over the fucking course of a month. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just, and this is what theory hypothesis is on to, at least the way he explains it, because he's talking about perturbations of the ether, right? When something waves, right? They say it's a wave or a particle. What's waving?
Particles.
But no, it's not. It's either a wave or a particle. So when it behaves like a wave, think about this. What's waving? See, when an ocean waves, what's waving? The water. So what's waving? Well, no, it's either the particle or the wave. This is what I'm saying. When it turns into the wave function, it's not particles. This is what I'm trying to get at here. There's an ether it's moving through. But this is annoyingly complex. It's ridiculous because they've tricked us in so many ways.
It's about not existential. It's about existence. It's about the fact that there is, and see, time is a huge part of all this. If we didn't have time, none of this would be moving or changing, and we would never be experiencing it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So time is a huge part of all. Now, is time tangible? Is time a tangible thing? I mean, I guess it is. But really, aren't you just seeing tangible results in the matter changing around you, which represent the passage of time? So then can you even say time itself is?
Personally, I think time is just simply a measure. I think there's only a perpetual now, and it's only through the record of that, and that's what we call time. The future doesn't exist. The past doesn't even exist. The only thing that really does exist is right now, but we use time as a measurement tool from here to there, and it can be measured accurately. So That's another hard one. But you see, that gets into almost like a spiritual realm, because I think that's what it is. It's just that this perpetual now. We're just here.
I know.
We're getting deep on validation, boy, tonight.
Yeah, for real. I mean, okay, so like, then there's this whole other side of things, like where it's like, you know, I'm touching my laptop, but am I really touching it? There's always this space between everything that you touch, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So then when you interplay that with the whole, is light itself matter? Does light have mass when it touches your eye and causes the action, the electricity to be sent through your eye into your brain to play out on the movie screen inside your head? You know, does that, I mean,
Well,
is
I mean,
light or
what's coming into your eyes is essentially energy. I personally think it's waves of energy, right? And it's moving through the ether. The
but they hit a
notion,
membrane. They hit a
it's
protective
hit, yeah,
membrane, and then
no, no, it's hitting your retina for sure. Yeah,
and then that signal is reinterpreted, and then that
indeed.
reinterpreted and signal is sent to the brain to play out on the movie screen that you see in your life.
Now we're getting back into solipsism, like we talked about the other day,
Yeah.
and in the same thing with touching things too. Like we can think to ourselves that we're confirming that we're touching something, but you're right. The space between the matter, so to speak, we're not really. So this place is crazy, bro. This whole world, it's
I
insane.
mean, super crazy, man, because it's like light has to hit your eye, and then your eye has to take that energy, block it from moving any further towards the brain, okay, and then reinterpret that signal, make it into a whole new, take it from MP3 and change it into MP4, basically, you know, changing formats. And then that new formatted wave file is then transplanted to your brain for you to perceive and for you to build your ego off of and for you to build your experience, which comes back to time, you know, and the passage of time and the paradox of like, you know, it might be a Mother Earth, but Mother Earth is nothing without Father Time for Mother Earth to live her life out.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, absolutely.
see,
Yeah, this
it's a
place is
existence
it's
is a symbiosis. Existence itself, the passage of time, life, death, all of it. That's matter. That's the tangible realm.
and speaking of Rome, I think that's the best, most accurate description of what this place is. And you know, we've been raised in this materialistic, mechanistic way of understanding the world where everybody like we're almost told in a way that hey, we've got this figured out. Shit, we went to the moon, we played golf on this. We know everything about this place. We've explored everything. Look at all of our big industry. We could fly around on airplanes. We got cars. Just get a job. You know, don't ask any questions and die, right? Like that's the way we're pushed in this into this world where it's almost as if sure there are scientists working on great discoveries, but for the most part we know enough. We know most of the stuff. But I think it's all a facade. I think this world is way fucking crazier than we can possibly imagine. And that's why I say it's a realm. You know, it can be measured as a sphere. It can be observed and experienced as a level motionless plane. The movement of the lights in the sky, you could say it is the earth moving. I don't think that. I don't think it is. I think it is the sky moving. So what I'm saying is like this place is way crazier than we think. They've just defined it for us a specific way. And that definition has put us in a materialist direction where we're good little slaves and we don't question anything on
Okay.
a true level.
And when you get in, yeah, and when you get into materialism, you start thinking about, okay, why are people materialistic? Well, what does owning a lot of material show about you? It shows that you're living the good life, that you're having a good experience as opposed to others. It's about pride. It's about display. And the richest people, they put even more on display, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Especially the ones who are not wise with their money and they're new rich. They always buy the big flashy car when they don't really need that car. They should be getting the you know, the sedan
Yeah.
instead of the fucking Corvette. But status is all about collectivism and social fitting in, and socialism and collectivism. Right back to
Back to
all
the
that again.
gynocracy.
Back to the gynocracy, bro. It's inescapable and shit.
Man.
Well, we don't have to, excuse me, we don't have to take it there. You know, it doesn't always have to go back to the gynocracy. But like, I just feel like recently, as of lately, whatever, I've seen it creeping in. I read all the comments that every person out here fucking makes and all these live chats. I'm reading them, not every one of them, but you know, when I'm in a show, I'm watching, I'm looking at the chat too. You know, obviously, especially if I'm participating, and I saw a trend formulating, and lately, you know, it's funny that none of these women want to like come on my show and challenge me on this idea, because I think a lot of them are being put in their place by what I've been saying, and I think that people are starting.
Hear that, Twit?
Yeah, people are starting to wise up. And they're being put in their place and whatnot. And, you know, that's really all that it begs to be managed. Let's just say it begs to be managed. Okay. That's natural order. But then what it is that when you manage and provide, then they get to play house and in their dolly. Yeah,
but don't you want a good mother? You don't, I mean, for your child, don't you want a good mother for your child? Don't you want her to be happy and taken care of?
Well, yeah, the thing is though, is that if I did ever have a child, it would be with the woman I'm with, because she's by far the most, you know, amazing and responsible and trustworthy and all that stuff. And I'd be straight on that, if you know, if that were the case and shit. Okay. Well, what do you mean though exactly?
Well, I'm just saying that would that be considered part of the gynocracy? I mean, I would want my wife to be, or not wife, like state institutional. I don't believe in marriage. I'm saying if my life partner I choose, if I chose, I wanted to work hard to make sure she had an easier life and took care of my child properly, and she didn't have to worry about things like I had to worry about things. Am I submitting to the gynocracy just by virtue of my decency in the matter?
Well, see, you're saying it's decency in the matter. I say it, you're playing the plantation role, you know, back on the plantation for you.
Okay, so now we're talking about just no, hold on. You're right. You said roles correctly. So we're talking about gender roles then. So how should they be redefined? Shall they?
Well, no. See, there is that natural order, and what you're proposing is, you're proposing like the stay-at-home mom situation and the father provide.
I'm saying if that's the choice, if that was a mutual choice.
If that's the mutual choice and it's understood and everyone knows that that's the reality of it.
And she's not trying to level up or none of that. Like she's a real good woman, you know? Am I being cucked?
No. That's the natural order. That is cucking out, but it's the cucking out that is necessary for life to exist and for a man. If you need a woman in your life to be happy, well, then you have to cuck out at least partially. I mean, you can't just, you know, run around like being a rapist or like beating women and shit into submission. You know, I mean, I guess some guys do that, but you know what I'm saying? Like that, if you want a real relationship with a woman that you actually care about, knows that there's this inherent cucking that will happen and shit. I mean, I don't even know if that's the right word.
I know that's the right word. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's something different. Right. It's more of
you're proposing the natural order.
You're submitting though. I think that's what you mean by cuck. You're submitting in this case still.
Well, it goes back to the old order, which is the best order, where there is a patriarchy and it's all powerful. And it actually has hidden behind it this higher order, which is their gold-plated hoo-has, and they protect them. But the thing is that those up on that higher order are placed there by this strong platform of order that's beneath it. You see what I'm saying? And then again, you have a flat and you have a globe. But anyways, I feel as though that's the natural order that should be restored. And right now, instead of that, we're getting this. We're getting a lot of this. As a whole species, the whole male race, masculinity in general. And you could hear in Marmar when she was talking before I put it in check, every time she would talk about the divine male, it was only accessible when a divine feminine allowed a man to see that in himself and stuff. And she controls everything and she micromanages everything, even the feelings that a man would have. And that's why she's so angry with men. She wants to throw off any potential suitors and have them cucking out and bowing down before her as a queen before they even try to date her and provide for her. And in her last video, she even said, I came upon a bad financial situation. So basically the court ordered that your ex-husband probably doesn't have to pay alimony anymore after 20 years of divorce because bitch, get a job. And that's what it looks like to me. Rude as brutal as all that may sound. And see,
no, the problem I see in all this, unfortunately, is not what you're saying necessarily, but is the state of society, right? Like you're bringing up some very valid points. I think your aggression or sometimes your flair for it might upset some of the people in your chat or people who listen to this. But I mean, overall, you're not wrong. I would say about 70% of what you're saying. As in, I see these as social problems too. But it's funny because I've just gone through life as just kind of been like, that's just the way it is. But when you point it out and you kind of see it has been getting worse, and then you look at these beta male dudes that have just been getting poured out of the system because of it, I'm thinking that this might be a social cataclysm. This might be a problem in 10 years. Like a sincerely apparent problem.
like,
and I think that's what you're doing. You're well, we'll go. Well, who knows? But I'm just saying, like a problem with population, a problem with society, a problem with birth rates, You see what I'm saying? Like an actual civilization crisis, perhaps even Ryan. But I think that you see, this is where I'm concerned that this has been manufactured. This is that cultural Marxist element where they're trying to curb population growth. They're making more, well, this is controversial, but I think that they're making the frogs gay. I mean, the men gay with soy and all of the, products and phytoestrins, all this stuff. But they're also masculinating women. They're breaking up the family unit. They're making these problems that you're describing essentially with women and feminism and third wave, etc. And so what you have is this fractured society because if the family unit does not persist, then they are reliant upon the government. This is a well-known tactic the Bolsheviks used in order to take control when they did over the scope of the 20 years in the beginning of the 1900s. So this is a well-understood thing as to how to destroy a civilization. Mm-hmm. I'm not kidding, BB. So I think you're sounding the alarm. You're hitting the bell a little too hard for some of these people, but yeah, I think you're sounding the alarm. Just saying, like, I can see it, bro.
Oh, hell yeah. P. Mars says, I hate women about himself.
Oh, poor P. Mars.
Oh, man. A lot of people are out here saying VB's right 99% of the time. And I was like, earlier, I was going to say, when you say 70%, you really mean about 98%.
Saying it for other reasons, VB.
I know.
But no, I think it is an important issue to point out. In the only corners of the internet that I've seen it talked about are honestly, the MGTOW kids are weird, bro. Like I've heard it talked about. I know you're not. I'm not trying to say you are. But what I'm saying is, like, I've heard it from that side. I've also heard Jordan Peterson talk about a lot of this stuff too, which I respect Peterson as an intellectual. And but the MGTOW guys, those are like weirdo, furry, anime watching. Like they remind me of like Captain Bullshit and David Quintana. They're just like totally weird and insecure.
I mean, that might be propaganda and shit that you're seeing because I mean MGTOW as an overall idea, like at its purest form, without any of those other extracurricular tie-ins that may be associated with it. It's really just the concept exists. And the statement that it makes is that until women come back to reality and get like a reality check and just take your normal red carpets that you already had for all these centuries, just take that back because you like it. You love living upstairs while we do all the shit down here and manage everything. And we get to come home to you and we get to our prize, that kind of an attitude, and like until women restore that order and know that they do have a very, very important 50-50 position of symbiosis with men that looks like this, but it really is just this in the end. It really is. And until they understand that and stop doing this, then men are going to go away and say, fuck you, bitches. Who are you going to marry now? Who's going to fucking pay all your credit card debts off? Who's going to pay your student loans off? Who's going to fucking who's going to do all this shit for you now that we all left? And I'm just saying that's what MGTOW in its purest form is saying. Now, I personally, I can't relate to some of those elements, you know, exactly, because I don't live life on this big money fucking situations and shit. I don't care about this kind of things. So, you know, but MGTOW in its purest form is really just a cultural statement of like, come on, women, like stop being these ridiculous perpetual victims that are now literally like getting
but you know
violent.
what the problem with that
violent.
though, let's say they get a big movement, right? Let's say women start paying attention. There's always going to be a group of a bunch of like alpha chads who are like, hey, these beta cucks over here are not banging women. Let's go get these women. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they make it like a big thing and known, there's going to be a group of men who are going to capitalize that and be like, hey, sorry, those guys aren't pulling their weight. They're cucked by the gynocracy, and they're going to go over there. They're going to, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's not a solution. It's not a solution, in my opinion.
It's not that those other the alpha males will be going over to that side. It's that the alpha males will be existing and the women will be clamoring to the alpha males. But the thing is, those alpha males can only support so many, you know, children at that point, basically, because women and children become the same thing at that point to an alpha male. Women are children. They just are. I mean,
I want to meet your girlfriend, bro.
Well, I'm just saying, like, when you're talking about like multi-millionaire dudes that are not married and can have their pick of the litter.
I'm so serious. I would love to see what your girl's got to say about these topics. Just out of curiosity.
But honestly, right? You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm talking about really well-off dudes, like the dorky dudes you're talking about earlier, like these ridiculous dudes. Now, I wouldn't say that they're necessarily alpha males, but you know, by proxy, they're alphas and shit because of their money or whatever. Then and they can have their pick or whatever. At that point, a woman is a child to that man because that woman is not going to expect to work, and she's going to need her nails did on the daily or weekly, and her hair has to get did.
You're talking about supported like that. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And then that's basically the upstairs of the slave or the upstairs of the old plantation. And they'll expect that, and the guy can't do that for however many, and maybe those guys do. I guess I don't know. That's not what life's about. That's not that. See, that's not the kind of. That's not a relationship that a man should even want, anyways. like, you know, that some guy, all these women out here be like, oh, that's VBA's ideal for a male-female situation is for him to be super rich and have a bunch of hoes. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that's unhealthy as fuck too. I'm saying there should be like a symbiosis in a family when you're going to raise
a healthy symbiosis. Like, okay, so let's throw it back then. The 50s. Okay, 50s and 60s. You had what was called the nuclear family. So it was an understood agreement between the man and the woman. It wasn't what it has become. Like then in its origin state, very similar around, I guess you could say around World War II. This all kind of came together after the fall in 1933, the financial fall, right? Like families had to come together a specific way, and there became this like specific job for the woman. This is where the gender roles were well established, right? The stay-at-home mom, cooking the meal for the man, and taking care of the child. And that was what the man wanted. And in return, what the woman wanted was the man to be courageous and strong and willing to go out and risk himself and do things and, you know, fight for her and all this. So we see this in a picturesque way, like old movies and things like that. Do you think that that is healthy, that image or that ideal? Should we work back towards that, or do you see a different paradigm that's better?
Women of today don't realize it because of the heavy programming, and especially with all the cultures mixing in and the anonymity of inner city like populations, especially when it comes into the hip hop culture and the way that hip hop has infiltrated society as a toxin, a brutal toxin, the entire hip hop culture. Yeah. It's just a savage toxin to our society and culture. But it's invaded, and due to all those things, a lot of women wouldn't necessarily fit into what I'm saying, but there is a glimmer of hope for them. But overall, that's what eliminating that group. Overall, that's what women really do want. They want to be that hidden matriarch that gets to the upstairs of the house.
I get you. And that seems to be what it may have always been.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? And it's funny because the man, well, I was just going to say, the man always thinks that he's king of the castle when the woman's secretly nudging her friend going, yeah, watch him jump through this hoop for me. That's what it's.
Exactly.
Okay, I get what you're saying there.
Yeah, yeah, and it's all about now. The women want to conform and be like each other, but then they always want to also outdo each other because inherently they're all narcissists, and always are in competition with each other.
Yeah,
So women are cursed with a lot of bullshit to deal with and expectations and shit in the society too. Like you can't blame them. I mean, they get really fucked up mixed signals about what kind of a woman you need to be in this world. You know, they get encouraged to be a skank on Sex in the City, and then they get, you know, but then reality check on the other side of the coin, and then they realize, oh, I ain't getting no good man, like real man, unless I'm like not one of those kind of fucking nasty bitches. I gotta not be a nasty
man,
bitch that lives in the city. If I
I don't
want to get a
know.
real man and shit, like that's really gonna support me for my life and shit and all them things and the white picket fence and the fucking babies and all that bullshit.
So you think just information, like informing people, pointing out the problem, addressing it, is the only way forward? Like, how can you see that we can fix this?
Making people aware of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've noticed that since I've been saying this shit, the women in the flat earth scene have drastically altered their fucking behaviors and shit, bro.
I think they might disagree with you, but sure, I can see where you're coming from. I'm not laughing at you. I just know some of the women out here.
Or, you know, some of the men are not going to be tolerating some of the bullshit they've been tolerating all this time.
Well, what about the ones who have just been cucked out more, like P. Mars?
P. Mars is like the face of cuckery. He don't even realize it. He is like the ultimate bow down servant of the gold plated vagina. He would serve a fucking copper plated one,
Oh, he's serving copper plate.
aluminum plated one, aluminum foil.
Oh, a tinfoil vagina. He would serve a tinfoil vagina. P. Mars is a tinfoil vagina, guys.
Oh my god. So man, did you see the Archimedes video I sent you? Validation boy wisdom.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I like this Archimedes guy. He did the Lewis breakdown, and then your wisdom was great,
Yep, I'm definitely gonna put that link in the thing below.
dude.
I guess
Dude,
was he being sarcastic? I mean, he took like my best shit and he put it all in a compilation. It made me look pretty good, I thought.
I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was great, actually. Um, and the other one was more like, I think it's demonstrating the qualities rather. So he demonstrated the qualities of Lewis, and then he demonstrated the qualities of yours. So his were obviously negative. Yours were quite entertaining and positive, I think, because cucked water is just he's just a disdainful curmudgeon like that. He's just rude, wrong most of the time, disrespectful, and arrogant and wrong. And those are a combination of things I can't stand. I'll be honest. I've tried to be nice to that guy, and curmudgeon Earth is what he wishes for.
He's definitely a bitter old man that's taken out his frustrations from being cucked out probably by his wife or whoever or his lover, and being the little servant that he is, and he tries to take all that aggression and hate that he has for that. Maybe it's his mom. Maybe he's like, like maybe he's like 55 and he's living with mom still.
He might be. He's pretty bitter, and he's got a lot of time on his hands.
And
Just
and
saying.
old Norma Bates is up there upstairs nagging him to death, and he's just so bitter. So he comes on the fucking flat earth and he has no content. And he's just like, oh, I'm curved fucking water. And I never show my fucking face, but I just like take any opportunity I can to try to fucking throw out stupid insults and start calling people dumb names just to try to trigger people in an argument when I'm just fucking obviously losing and being made a fucking fool of and shit. I mean, right?
It's funny. Dude, it's on point. I can't lie. I mean, like I said, I've tried to be nice to him on numerous occasions. But I would like to I'd like announce that good old John Laban is out in the chat asking for a link. I would probably recommend such a thing. He says the problem is that if I join the panel, Cathexis might do his disappearance routine like last time.
Don't do that, bro.
John,
Stick around, bro.
no. John, seriously, my phone died. Literally, my battery died. I ran to the room to plug it in. By the time it charged, well, I got back on. You had already gotten off. So I think it was like 5 minutes later. So I didn't leave because of you, John. I saw pretty well. You trolled the shit out of me real good, so I give you total credit.
I mean, bro, don't leave me alone with John LeBon.
What are you talking about? John's like one of my favorite people out here.
All right, good.
Oh,
He's
he
one of
was
my favorite of
trolling
all
you.
times.
He's
I sent him the
trolling
link,
you.
man. I sent him the link.
Damn it, John. I was hoping to talk to you. I wanted you to tell me what reputable sources from your local media that I can trust because you're there. You confirmed.
Oh God.
Yeah, that shit was hilarious.
Dang.
Yeah, he trolled the shit out of me for like 20 minutes and totally got me. I didn't realize he was just being so deadpan and like just trying to trigger us. It was great.
You talking about the 1 year anniversary special?
Yeah, I remember he jumped on and I was talking about
Yeah.
uh, positive things that I was seeing in the world, and I mentioned the Saudi Arabia thing, and he jumped on. He's like, "How do you know that?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"Well, because I saw it reported." Oh, so you believe the mainstream news? Way to go! You believe? And then he just went down this total troll line of questioning. And no, he's not wrong though. He's not wrong. I don't trust anything the mainstream media says, but I still look at it and understand what the world is looking at. But yeah, he got me good. I love John.
Man, you were
Wish
doing a
he'd come
really
back.
you did a really good impression of A Truth Shall Set You Free the other night on my show.
Oh God. I wonder if he made a video about me yet.
I don't know.
Dude,
It was good though. You were doing his voice and I was like, oh shit, that sounds like that guy.
dude, that
Oh,
guy, man.
I know. He's weird, man. He's all right though. You know, he's full of weirdness and he wants to attack me 1 minute and then he like is cool with it in another minute, you know, and like
He,
it's all right.
and
It's like whatever. I'm not gonna
I do. Look, I come from a Christian background. I do. I was raised in two different churches essentially up until age 17. And hell, I was going to be a preacher at one point when I was 14 years old. I really was. I'm giving a sermon in front of the Seventh-day Adventist church. Like I was that much into it at the time. When I turned 17, I found a new church called LSD and Marijuana, but that's 20 years ago now. But anyway, so I moved on from that, but I have a strong I have a respect for Christianity, a respect for, people's faith and worldviews, etc. But what I can't stand, and I think this has caused more damage than any shill or anybody in these communities, are these Christian folks drawing a line in the sand and declaring someone a witch, declaring somebody a Satanist, declaring somebody something kind of evil because they don't share the same exact religious views that they do. They're like these professional victims where, they accuse somebody of being a Satanist. The person lashes back and says, "I'm not a Satanist, you crazy person." And then they're like, "See, look, they attacked me." So it's this reciprocal causation, right? And it confirms their view that they're being persecuted all the time. It's just frustrating because I have been nothing but decent to good Christian folks out here, and I've gotten, I guess, I don't know why. I've gotten people to, like that guy, he said I was a Satanist.
So
Whatever his name is.
Seventh Day Adventist, okay, is that inherently a Protestant, in the Protestant sector, or is that like some kind of weird tie-in back to Catholicism?
No, they hate Rome. They hate Catholicism.
Okay.
They're actually, we talk about it all the time. They are one of the most Protestant groups, and they're very strict with Lutheran. But here's the funny thing: they believe a Jesuit doctrine called futurism. So it's so weird. Like, okay, futurism is the notion of the 7-year tribulation, and Jesus is coming back in the future, and the Antichrist is in the future. All this stuff. That's a Jesuit doctrine. It's an interpretation of Revelations that the Jesuits put forth in 1593 by what's his name, Francis Ribeiro. Okay, it's well known. It's called Jesuit futurism if you look it up, right? And so it was the only religion. Seventh-day Adventist was the only Protestant religion that held this view about a future. This is why they were considered like a cult back in the day. because they started in the 1800s, and they kept, like, the word Adventist means coming back, right? So they go
Okay.
to church on Saturday, which is seventh day, right? That's the real seventh day because they changed the calendars. Constantine changed the calendars. And so they go to church on Saturday. They say that's the Sabbath. And then Adventist means Jesus coming back. Advent, right? He's coming back. So it's just so strange. Now that I'm older and I understand these kind of things, and I've done all this research, they hate Catholics, they hate Rome, but they adopted a Jesuit ideology about the end of the world. Doesn't make any sense to me. So looking back on it, I see them as a very confused group. Seriously. Like, I've been asking a lot of
Yeah.
Christians lately, like, the first question is, do you trust Talmudic Semites? Like, I don't want to sound rude, but that I asked them that question. And you know most Christians, what they say. No, they hate the Talmud, right? They the Jewish book, the Talmud, they can't
Yeah.
stand it, right? So I asked that. I said, do you trust Talmudic Semites? And they'll say no. And then I say, do you trust Rome? And of course they say no. And then the question is, well, why do you trust the book as without skepticism towards it, the Bible, right? Because the Bible is essentially Jewish texts taken by Rome, reconfigured, books taken out, things added in, and then given to us after 1,500 years. Well, if the numbers are correct, but after so long, given to us. So people don't apply skepticism to it, you know? And, but anyways, I'm getting off on a tangent. Forgive me. And yes, yes, John, I do know of the history hoax. I just don't know which is the right research vein that I should be looking into. But anyway, he keeps asking me all these questions. Yes, I do not trust that nukes are real. I don't think an atom exists in the way that they've told us. Anyway, sorry.
No, you're good. I mean, yeah, I don't see why he doesn't just come on the show.
He said,
I mean,
yeah, he says he can't. He's in a cafe. I don't know if that's like a bathhouse or something. I don't know. I don't know what Australia slang is.
shirt lifter.
What does shirt lifter mean, dude?
I don't know. I think
Seriously.
someone in a comment told me it means like gay.
Shirt lifter. Is that like pikey language? Is that what the problem is? Mark Taylor's a pikey?
And then they also said that the reason he knew that slang is because he is one.
I don't doubt it. Mark Taylor sounds like he's got marbles in his mouth. Yeah. I've talked to him
He
a
sounds like a
couple.
freaking walrus.
Dude, you should go on there more with that mood. You absolutely were killing it, man. That was you see Nathan Oakley just falling out, dude.
I know. Nathan wishes he could go off like that.
Did you see me yesterday go on there? Or the day before? Yeah, it was number 45. Did you see me?
Why you were after me?
Yeah, I
You came
was.
on the show after I left.
Yeah, and I taught everybody about the concave Earth reality.
Yeah, I don't know if I went. I think I watched more of the show.
Mm-hmm.
I think I finished it, but I think I got to watch it again. I know
Well,
you were telling me about this before. Yeah.
I proved to everybody that we really live in on the inside of the sphere in a concave Earth because of bendy light and because of well, it just is that way. So deal with it.
It just is. It's just that way, man.
Yeah,
You know.
Lord Stephen Christ was right, guys. Once the Megacry meteors start falling, it's on.
What do you think about the theory that Lord Stephen Christ is the person who plays Stiggy Vandren's scheme?
Stiggy Van Who?
You didn't see Stiggy when he was on Nathan's debate?
No, I didn't.
There's this, okay,
There's
there's
a
this
guy named.
character that comes,
Oh, I did see that guy. Holy
yeah, and he
shoot!
comes on and he starts talking Australian and then he starts talking British and then English and then
Someone
he
said
starts
it was
talking.
Lewis Hackett, but I don't think he's that
I said it was
clever.
Lewis Hackett.
Yeah, but I
Yeah,
don't think
but
he's
then they
that
said,
clever.
well, then there was Lewis and him on a show at the same time to debunk that, and then someone else
Mm.
says, and then Nathan said it's probably Lord Stephen Christ, and it kind of like sounds like, I'm like, it could make sense, but I'm not
Yeah,
sure what
dude.
if it's
Okay.
Matt Power Chode.
Yeah, because Duke Katie's been coming around.
Oh
So
shit! Oh shit!
wouldn't that be fucking great? Dude, that'd be great. Epic. See, here's the thing, man. If it's okay, I am all for trolling if it's funny. If it's funny, if it's mean, then get out of here with that nonsense. Like, but if it's funny, dude, I could watch 2 hours of a troll cast and think it's great. It's funny, you know? So yeah, if that was him or Math Power, yeah, I think that would be great. It could have been LSC. So P Mars is really butthurt. He's calling me a coward privately and telling me to F off because I won't give him the link. Says I'm a fag and a coward and the F you because I won't give him the link.
Yeah, fuck P Mars. He ain't coming on this show.
Yeah, I told him it's his VB show. I told him if he went live, I would go on and hear what he has to say. But mind you, I've known P Mars for over a year now. I have offered so much kindness to him. Seriously, I'm being man to man, man to the audience. I've offered nothing but kindness, friendship, and respect to him. I've given him information, perspectives, ideas. I have done my best in order to accommodate his moods that he changes so rapidly. I've apologized for him. I have defended him. I've offered him friendship. And the only thing he's done in return is backbit, talk behind a man's back, try to harm reputation, and literally destroy friendships and interactions with me and everybody else. And it's just, how many times before you say, get the hell out of here with that nonsense? So I just got to say, it's a shame, about P Mars, but something happened to him. I don't know what it is, but I hope him the best in life. But you can just leave me alone, P Mars. I don't want to date you.
Fuck P Mars, man. Poor guy sitting there all alone and shit,
I know, like I
just
said,
longing.
I'm not even joking, man. I've been nice to him, and he just wants to like be a garbage human being. I don't know what it is, dude.
I mean, you don't think my opening statement and my attack on curved water was like mean spirited? You thought it was more funny?
Yeah, like I said, validation boy is my spirit animal. Like, dude, I don't. I'm okay. I'm gonna say I'm pretty sure you're trolling a lot of the times, but it's so deadpan and it's so good, and you don't break the character that it's hard to say. It's hard to say. That's how good it is. People can't tell if that's really you or if you're just doing that right then. That's
It's
pro. That's pro.
it's not pro. It's me. I'm not playing a character. That's the problem. People think I'm joking
I'm
and
not
shit,
saying
bro.
that in a bad way. I'm saying that in a really good way. Okay? Like seriously. I'm not demeaning by pointing this out. Like if that dude, you were on point. I don't know what you had for lunch that day or something, but the other day when it came to the curved water, you were just like completely on point, like full gamma wave, ready to go in a flow state.
Yeah, I made Curve Water my little bitch that night. I definitely made him my little bitch because I was in there and I was proposing the whole globe, equals pregnant belly theory, gynocracy theory and shit. And he fit the mold perfectly. He was the perfect fucking example of that with his globe mentality, his little collectivist strength in numbers. I'm just going to repeat and hope that the fact that I'm on the bigger team means that I win this particular popularity contest, whatever chat that is that he was in at the moment. And it's not going to work anymore. And I was calling him out for it. I was calling him out for the fact that he doesn't even have any content. He doesn't even start up his own hangouts so that he can ask some person a question, you know, like, or have a
Yeah.
guest, or he doesn't even do that. He's just really just a parasite, bro. And he's all those things that I was saying are in that toxic feminist mindset, that is
and the thing is,
infiltrating, and he's all of those things.
yeah, I mean, he is, and he's responsive. He's not like he's responding. He's not ever putting anything good up there. I remember you made that point actually.
Yeah,
Like
he's reactionary.
exactly, that's it. He's reactionary, and he doesn't. It doesn't seem like he does research, right? All the most he'll do is read something off of Wiki or go to Rational Wiki or Snopes or Metatron, right? That it seems to be the way he goes about it, or he asks somebody else like George, Hit and Attack or whatever his name is, and it's there's a rumor going around that Cathexis pretends to be somebody else and goes on the Fakeologist Discord server. Really? I actually have never interacted with Fakeologist or even seen in no leads rules. I've never read the Zohar. I used to do that on Krillism, and I used to troll the hell out of those atheist cucks. It was pretty funny. But anyways, yeah, Curved is just. I think he's. I think we nailed it already. I think we nailed it down with him. I wish you'd do some research. That's what bothers me about people who approach this conversation. Okay, it doesn't matter what the shape of the Earth is at the end of the day. I think the most important, and I'm talking about in this context, I think the most important factor is that a person actually does the research and gets themselves out of the comfort zone, gets themselves out of their paradigm for a moment,
And
and then reevaluates.
You talk about in the context of coming on live hangouts and debating people about.
Well, yeah, if a person's going to speak on this subject, okay, and you see what Curved has is the security of the consensus, right? He's just siding with daddy. He's siding with authority, okay? So he feels comfortable in not researching, in not knowing, yet he's confident that the answer is right because that's what the consensus reality agrees with currently, right? That's what's pushed out by NASA or pushed out by, modern institution, okay? So what I'm saying is that if a person goes down these, he's in a corner of the internet that should require research to get to. He only came across this because, well, he wanted to involve himself over with the Earth discussion stuff. And he's a contrarian. He's not a researcher. And so many of these guys are. Most of these people who haven't done the research and set their paradigm aside in order to evaluate if this is real or not, if it's true or not. How do you know the Earth is a sphere? How can you prove it to yourself? How much of your belief are you willing to alter and change and fill it back up with knowledge? And these people haven't done that. They just feel comfortable because the consensus reality has their back. You see what I'm saying here? Like, it's rather useless in the conversation because all he's going to do is check Rational Wiki and Snopes or whatever. Like Brenda. Same with Brenda. Same with, well, I like Jim Panda. Me and him are friends. But he goes a little further too. He's done some good research on the history of these topics. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I definitely see, man. Yeah, I know. They're really just, they're not the kind of people that should be really involving themselves in the debate. They should probably be sideline sitters and just listening to people that can bring interesting and new perspectives to the conversation, because there are globers out there. They're far and few between, but there are globers out there who actually are having original thoughts and like thinking along the lines of the globe and trying to prove the globe the same way flat earthers are being like creative with flat earth and thinking of things.
It's true. That's true.
But
it's not some with Curve, not with Cordis and Brenda
Mark Taylor and shit.
Yeah, not with those guys. And that is disingenuous. That is not healthy to the conversation. All they want to do is stop the conversation. They want to deny. They want to disrupt. They're not helpful. They don't want to learn anything, and they don't want to teach you anything. What they want to do is make you look stupid, and they want to get points for themselves. Right? And so they're taking the safe bet. That's all it is. It's a safe bet. They haven't, risked their paradigm, so to speak.
Yep, it's straight up. It's bullying, man. It's just bullying, and so I felt like I should come back on there and kick their ass for a little bit the other day. Make them look stupid, you know, because they really don't offer anything. I mean, like, hold on just a second. I'm gonna switch back to the other account or to the other.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, man. And John LeBon, for the record, I am not a flat earther. I am a geocentrist, but I do think that geodesy, geodetic surveying, is measuring what would at the end of the day be considered the curvature of the Earth, and then they're matching it to the geoid, mostly the flattening ellipsoid. That fits WGS 84 properly, but there are other theories involved in that. So geocentricity is the most important thing a person can come to, I think, in this pursuit. And that's just me. I'm speaking from my assessment, in my opinion. So yeah, and also I'm out here. I'm not trying to teach anybody unless they want to be taught. I'm not trying to change people's minds or beliefs in this point. I just like to have conversations with people like Validation Boy who have interesting ideas. That's it. So
John LeBon might still be butthurt because of the fact that I broke down his curved ocean thing with not being able to, how I broke it down. I said he can't equate like the bulge of the ocean with something like a cross section of one individual wave near a beach, near a coast somewhere. That if you look at it from the side would have a bulge in it, but it would be a moving bulge that was part of a specific energy force or wave, you know, that's being pushed, not the overall bulge. And I brought up the whole microcosm versus macrocosm thing. He's still butthurt over that.
There you go. Checkmate, JLB. Validation Boy just checkmated you, bro.
I'm just trolling him over that because now behind the scenes, I think that me and him are still on good terms. I literally didn't speak a word to him directly when he was on my 1-year anniversary because I was eating my food at the time, and he came on, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna eat real quick, and then by the time I was done and ready to talk, he was gone or something. It was crazy. I didn't even mean for it to end up that way, but I literally didn't say one word directly to John LeBon, I don't think, during that entire time that he appeared on my show that night.
Now, I've been able to speak to John a couple times. I think I was on air with him twice, and once kind of half private because it was after a call. And I got to say, I mean, really, I am sad that he ended up taking off because I was hoping to do. Actually, I was considering doing my scientism series with John first, John LeBon, and we just couldn't get the schedules or well, really, it was I hadn't set up the whole intention of it yet, and then John came around, the guy who I did Quantum Racer came around, and I ended up doing it with him, but John LeBon was the first person that I thought of when I decided to do this. So I see he might be coming back. Is this true, JLB? Are you here? Are you back on YouTube and plan on doing projects?
Cathexis. Read that shit out loud for the viewers, bro. Read that shit out loud.
He said, Cathexis did a very clever disappearing act when I joined the call. So did Timmy Osman. Both of them know not to mess with me. My skepticism is too hot to handle. Yes, your hyper skepticism is definitely hard to handle. No, my phone died, John, and I did talk to you for about 20 minutes while you were triggering me about what empirical really means and how can we know anything. You might as well say we're just it's just pure hard solipsism for you, John. And I'm fine with that. Collective solipsism, let it be.
Yeah.
Anyways, JLB's a pro troll. He really is.
I guess there's a certain level of us here at the top of this, this lower scene, and we hover, and we're like the true aces, the true mavericks of the whole flat Earth scene. We're not like we're not the top people with the really big subscriber counts, but we're very well known, and we've seen it all. We've been there and done that with everybody. We've been on everybody's shows. and we're the elite, bro. It's like you, me, Timmy, a very small handful of dudes, bro. You know.
Yeah, you know, and that's the thing is like most people are afraid to have conversations with people who are in other groups or have other ideologies or whatever. And I've gotten a lot of shit because I've been able to speak with flat earthers in a very positive way, just the same as I've been able to speak to globe earthers in a very positive way, and even concave. I have a great interaction with um, LSC and his friends. I do. And I've been able to talk. Hell, I have the book right here, The Cellular Cosmogony, written by Cyrus Teed. Um, you know, so I can talk this with them, and I'm able to hold all of these different ideas at the same time, and not confirm, you know, agree with one of them, and so that I can kind of entertain all of this stuff. A lot of people are so polarized. It is just pure that polarization out here, and that's what I can't stand. And so I get trashed by the Globers because they think I'm on the flat Earth side, and then I get trashed by Ali B and Pete Shea trying to say that I'm on the globe side. No, I'm on the side of truth, and I'm on the side of entertaining, interesting ideas. So I'm able to interact with all these different groups, you know, all these different people. And that means come over here too, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Well, John Laban is in the chat, and he says, "We're the elite, bro." Signed, VB. Mental illness 100% confirmed.
yeah.
Well, that's all right. You know, I didn't mean it like that, but he knows what I meant. That's funny. Now, there's a certain level of dudes. You know, Isa Mahalski, yourself, myself, John Laban. Not so much Jed Skeptic. Maybe at one time he could have been one of us, but he's not. You know, he's not up to par. But I mean, like, did you see Jed? Did we already talk about that when he was trying to fight everybody?
Oh my God.
Did you see that?
Jed, what a piece of work that guy is.
Yeah.
No, I didn't hear that. Wow.
Yeah, Jed, he had one of his drunk streams. I know, like typical Saturday afternoon drunk stream, and
Yeah.
over there it's late at night, and he like wakes up his kids because he's just getting more and more drunk as he goes, and he just like starts running around the kitchen like as if he's boxing, and he's like lifting up his clothes, and he's like, oh, looking at himself. He's like, I should be a model for such and such, and like it's just super freak out fest, and he just made a complete ass. And he's like, I bashed your fucking skull in, you know, to every person out there. Just like I'll kick Dell's ass for my son. I'll bash VB skull.
What's up with the Scotsmen, dude? What's up with them Scotsmen? Why are they so? You know what I'm saying? Like they're all so weird and like
weird.
I don't know how to put it, but they're aggressive. They're just strange. Each one of them is strange in their own way. You know what I mean? You got. I don't know what to think of them. They're a weird bunch.
The Scotsmen are kind of like the badasses over there in the UK, I believe. I
Right?
think they're the coolest ones, I think. I think they're the coolest ones. The most interesting ones.
So I found a poem in a book. The book was called 2013. What I did was I Googled the words Metatron and grid. Okay. No, it wasn't. Forgive me. It was firmament and grid. And the first thing that came up was this poem, and it reads, Metatron knows we are ready to be informed. Our Earth's new firmament is now being formed. So it was just searching firmament and grid, just out of curiosity, see what came up in the books. And this book called 2013 showed up, and the first line was Metatron knows we are ready to be informed. Our Earth's new firmament is now being formed.
What year was that book written?
Isn't that weird?
What year?
2013.
It was written
2013.
It was written then, and it's called that.
Yeah.
And who's it?
It was all concerning 2012 changeover. It was. I have to pull it back up. 1 second. Yeah, the thing is, Metatron is I mean, he's considered the recording angel, and it is, you know, well known in Kabbalah. He's actually an angel in Kabbalah. He's not mentioned in the book. He's mentioned in just Kabbalistic texts as the recording angel. He is the angel that takes note of all that you do, all your choices, all of your information. He's the data miner of your life. So I think it's really interesting that the app company that that is working with Mark Sargent, which is a data mining company, named themselves Metatron. Just saying. Find that interesting.
Very interesting.
So the book is right here. I got it pulled up. Go on.
Well, the thing is like, why wouldn't some data mining company name themselves something like Metatron? Why wouldn't they? You know?
Oh,
And
exactly.
Oh
yeah, I'm not
speaking
that, like on a conspiratorial level. This is just a coincidence, in my opinion.
But
it is.
I know. We see situations like that all the time in big corporate, you know, scenarios or whatever, where
corporations they use, you know, esoteric and highly symbolic things, you know, all the time. So yeah, I don't blame them for it. And it's an amazing idea when you look into Metatron, what the what he represents and what the relationship to God and man is with Metatron. But the book, by the way, is called 2013 Poems Inspired by Channeled Information from J.K. Roberts. So this is like channeling like Abraham Hicks, Cryon, Bashar, all that stuff. Like this is the type of information, like the crystalline grid, you know, the new firmament being formed electronically, and you know that kind of stuff. It's the channelers. They're all into aliens and shit. They think Pleiadians are coming back to save us.
So what you're saying is that Metatron is Skynet.
Dude, it is. And it's the recording angel, meaning it's recording everything we do. That's what Metatron is in the Kabbalah. Like at the end, when you die, Metatron meets you first and gives the records to God. And this is just from in the Kabbalah. That's the way they view Metatron. So wow. Yeah, kind of interesting.
I know.
Just saying. People are such conspirators, though. The MGTOW stuff it's too far. It's too many assumptions being made.
Yeah, there's a lot of big jumps. Yeah.
And they put it so factually, as if it were the case, and it's not necessarily true. But oh well. I know you're a potato, so I don't want to put you in an awkward position.
No, I'm free to say and do whatever I want.
I know.
I know it's just like, but sometimes when like what some of the stuff Reset was saying at one point, I just thought to myself, before I even heard Patricia's explanation about having a lawyer have the address registered to some other property so that he could manage it or whatever, so that they could do tax things and stuff. Yeah. That seemed to make like a lot of sense to me. And then she said pretty much what I had predicted. You know, it's like a tax zoning thing. It was a way to keep your stuff private, you know. Big deal, man. And like they just make huge jumps from that point. And,
yeah,
it's just not.
Yeah. I mean, just, the things that were presented were reasonable business moves.
Well, yeah, but see, the thing is, worst case scenario, what if Patty and Mark are with some internet company and they put free apps out and you don't even have to sign up for them at all if you don't want to? And then they talk about flat Earth, and then they even worst case scenario, they get TV shows and all this stuff from a flat Earth conservative perspective. Worst case scenario, they go on TV, even make a mockery of flat Earth, even just turn it into a Netflix episode that gets brushed by and deleted after 2 years of just some crazy people at some crazy convention. Worst case, what does that really do? Does that really harm flat Earth? Does it really harm the flat Earth movement for all these people out here that are just like witch hunting on Patricia and them? I mean, if you're a true flat earther, it's in your heart, you're dogmatic. You're even conservative about it. You don't even want to tell people about it. And you could be dogmatic about it and know that it comes down to a system of beliefs, just like the globe does, or just like concave does. It all comes down to a system of belief, even turtle Earth. Right. You know, so might as well just.
You're right.
Yeah. So, I mean, like what harm, even in the worst case, the shills, like the psyop, it distracted me and made me think that the Earth is flat. And then from there, I either put all my faith in other leaders of flat Earth and wanted to see the drama play out with what kind of media interplay they have in their careers, or I take flat Earth and take it inward and live flat Earth, which is what I've done years ago now. I'm living post flat Earth fashion life, you know.
Your post globe,
yeah,
post globe mentality.
I'm definitely post globe. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, post globe. But I mean, post discovery of flat Earth, post flat Earth awakening is what I mean when I say that. Lifestyle.
Yeah, no, I
For
get you
years.
completely, actually.
Like, so what are people even bitching about? Like, actually, I say let the horses run wild. Let them go and be rich and famous off flat Earth at this point, because it'll prove only nothing bad about them. It'll prove only things that are bad about those who are going to be greedy with it. That's all it's going to do, because flat Earth is still going to be flat in my dogmatic
Here,
approach.
let's address something real quick with John here. Once again, he's upped his game. He said, "Let me be clear. I do not believe the rumors that validation boy Cathexis only hang out with flat earthers, because otherwise they would be all alone in the dark, dark world." What do you have to say about that
Yeah. What do you want to
validation
address
boy?
about it?
Well, I just think if John really believes that, I think that I don't know. He's kind of been involved with it from the beginning. He just doesn't like it anymore. And I talk to people out here because I like exchanging interesting ideas. So if that, well, I do that in real life too, but the internet allows for that type of communication. So I don't know what to tell you, John.
Yeah, I mean, like, validation boy is not Cathexis's neighbor down the street who comes over and blazes a doobie with him, every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday and Saturday night, chilling. But on the
Pretty
internet,
much.
there's a potential that it could be that way. See, that's how interactions happen. And John is very angry at the world. He's very antisocial. He's still hurt that I just punked out a lot of his approach on how he tries to make people look silly on YouTube.
Yeah, he kind of demonizes social interaction over the internet with that's not very well, he has more of a, antisocial attitude about him as of late. But he's the elitist, actually. He's demonstrating his elitist attitude, I think.
Yeah.
But back to the what you were talking about with them. What's the worst that they could do? I actually agree with that. One person, two people, even if it's a data collection unit mixed with, they're trying to get out in front of the information or control it a certain way, or they were put here to evaluate people to see how people respond to these ideas. It's just two people. There's no way, even if they had a team, even there would be no way to control any of this. Like, there are so many people that will never go on a YouTube chat. Literally, there are thousands of people who have encountered these ideas who just watch a video on somebody's Facebook stream, or they don't even come to YouTube. They just see it on Reddit. It's just a video embed of some random, 200 proofs or something like that, right? So there are more people. Like, the health of a YouTube chat community is no health of an idea, right? There's a bunch of chat trolls and hangout trolls and a bunch of people who like to just have a good time, publicly on the internet, right? And make some interesting friends. That's all this is. If you look at it, how many people are there that use the flat Earth, like hangout scene? There's only a couple hundred at max. I would say probably only up to 100. Think about it. You know everybody when you see them in the chat, don't you?
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, and how many? I would say 50 to 100 people regularly, right? This is a very, very, very tiny corner of the internet.
Yep.
So it's more of like a hobby, and I think they couldn't possibly do anything to it. Although I am a bit concerned about Mark Sargent being part of the Flat Earth Society openly with the card carrying. You've seen him with his card.
Yeah,
I find,
yeah, I've seen him.
yeah, I find that a little interesting, but
Hmm.
I don't know. But yeah, I don't know what all this. I don't know what all this is. I still don't. After all this time, I don't know.
What do you think Mark's deal is, bro? I mean, what do you think? Is he a disinformation agent sent by the government? Is that what you're saying?
No, I didn't say that at all.
I mean,
Did
seem
I
to
did
have.
I say anything like that? I said the worst case
No, no.
scenario. No. I said
Oh,
even if it were the worst case scenario, I was doing kind of what you did, right?
okay.
Even if that were the case, there's nothing that he could be doing. There's so many other people, individuals who have gotten up and done something themselves or put themselves out there or created content. They could only be they don't have much reach is really kind of the point. So I don't know what damage anyone could do in that. Not it doesn't matter who it is. I mean, Dubé did the Jew World Order, for goodness sake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that all went down before Flat Earth really. Well, I don't know, man. I
No,
can't.
it was right when it went. That was right when B.O.B. and Tila Tequila came out. He came out with the Jew World Order right when that happened. So it was like right when things started getting attention, he did that, and then he started talking about it on radio shows. So I mean, there is, I guess, a way to subvert this. There is a way to make this stuff look silly. But everybody else in the world thinks these ideas are stupid anyway and ridiculous. They just do. We've been trained to think it's nonsense. And
I've
so
been.
I don't know how much worse it could be. But yeah, I'm not a conspirator about any of this. I think it's just a bunch of people. I mean, honestly, there's a higher chance that Mark and Patricia are uh, people who just encountered this and they just, find themselves in the situation they're in.
Yeah, they marketed really well or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Patty's a lovely woman. I've talked to her on a couple of occasions. She's very graceful and she handles, all this nonsense that's thrust on her. I mean, seriously, it's like a witch hunt for some of these people. Some people are brutal, just doxing and threats, and
Well, the
that
thing
shit's
is,
no fun.
is that when Patricia came out, she packaged herself with this, like there's a set to what she's doing, and there's like a format, and it's like newscaster-ish. And a lot of people are used to coming home after work every day, 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night, sitting down, putting on the news, watching the news people talk to them with that professional air of professionality, informative, you know, compelling to look at, like, oh, this person, you can watch them and stuff, you know what I'm saying? They're not like some slob who's sitting there looking like nasty, and sounding ignorant and shit, Uh, and so people were drawn to Patricia. And like, what can you do? Blame her? And then she found success in it. And then everybody on YouTube wants to have success and get validation, really. And so, what can people really blame her for, like playing that out and letting it ride in that wave? Because it just happened. Plus, nothing against her being one of the older females in Flat Earth, but because of her age and her experience in life and her social experience, she's able to consistently produce this YouTube content while making all the other females, not all of them, but a lot of the other women in Flat Earth look, putting them to shame for just being like, just some other chick on YouTube, you know. And I'm not trying to hype up Patricia. I'm just saying, like, that's what happened. And so therefore, where the witch hunt comes in, I guess, because she reminds people of people in positions of authority because of her well-produced presentation. So her appearance of authority means people that want to attack authority are going to go after her inherently, which also inherently makes her popular. Because
Yeah,
then
and that's the
her,
thing. Yeah,
yeah,
promoted by contrast. That's another thing that a lot of these people don't
yeah,
realize is when you give an idea an adversary, then people take it more seriously. They're like, wait, why is this person fighting this so much? Like, why is this person so angry about this? Or, why are they trying to stop this conversation? I call it promote by contrast, right? Creating controversy. That's actually a very well-known marketing tactic in public relations. People will choose to do this in world events and politics and stuff that we see. I even wonder if some of the stuff that has happened in Flat Earth, if it wasn't manufactured in order to build the hype train. Like, think about the, MGTV. He dropped the Metatron stuff a week before the conference, or a week and a half or so, right?
yeah.
That's It's weird considering that it's kind of a nothing burger. You know what I'm saying? Like it's, as we mentioned, it's all just reasonable business moves, and it makes you ask a couple weird questions, and they were able to promote it. It's like promotion.
Yeah, same with
You
Flat Earth
know?
Reset. Same with Reset 3,
Oh
because it's
God,
like
yeah.
when he was calling me, and I was like, well, actually, man, the way you're going about doing all this stuff, if it turns out that they do their conference and nothing bad comes of it, or nothing, nobody doesn't show up, and everything goes down like normal, then it looks like you were just doing advertising for them the whole time, and you're
That's
the
the
fucking
thing.
sellout. I mean, it's like,
Oakley calls it like that. Anytime something negative happens, that you're creating buzz. You are get now. The only problem I have with it is like the effect it has on viewers, right? So like Flat Earth Reset, he's collected a vile bunch of just reprehensible people who think that his behavior and attitude is fine on the internet. You know what I mean? Like that, it's not cool. It isn't reasonable to behave like that towards people. Like he has no evidence or proof that these people are evil or malicious. The same with the ones going around calling people Satanists and stuff. That to me is just, they have no evidence of that. Like, how do I know another man's heart? Just because he doesn't believe the same way I do about a religion or a belief system, you call him a Satanist? It's just too much, and they go on literal witch hunts.
yeah, people in the chat, just in general, are saying that people like you and me, who are we're on the lower level of names, famous names. Like, we're not Jaronism, we're not Globebusters, we're not Mark Sargent. But anyone who's anyone in Flat Earth knows exactly who Cathexis is, and they know exactly who Validation Boy is.
It's true.
And so on down the line. So we do have this position, and then some of the people out here that are extra suspicious, they equate us with those upper level people in Flat Earth that have nothing to do with what we are doing on Flat Earth, on YouTube, and on YouTube with talking about Flat Earth stuff. Like, you're on here to talk to people and to live your life and be just some fucking guy that's on YouTube that talks about deep shit with cool people. And same with me, and make some cool videos and shit, and these people are just jealous that you and I sound intelligent, are able to present cool ideas, are able to basically kind of be that alpha that displays that confidence, that can go and do these things while they sit on the sidelines. And that's why they're beta cucks. And we really have nothing. Yeah, I mean, like, that's the way I think.
Especially the ones that don't ever do anything. Your Captain Bullshit, your, Cigar Face. I mean, ththese guys.
Jovan.
Yeah, Joe. Oh, especially Jovan. They have. I call him Jovan Culture Vulture. But yeah, like these guys, they have. They offer nothing. There's nothing of value. They're not even polemics. They're literally abusive, disruptive. Seriously, like if like I would smack them. Like seriously, if I was in a classroom and they were in there behaving that way, nobody would tolerate it, you know. But they get their kicks from attention. That's all it is. But they don't offer any value. Is really the point I'm making. They don't do videos. They don't contribute ideas. They don't give you an alternative idea. They're just there to disrupt, deny, and make you look silly.
Yeah, and suggest that Cathexis and VB get scripts from Jaren and from Patricia, like, emailed to us, and that's the script that we follow and shit. Like, fucking
right.
Fucking fucktard people out here, man. We're just some fucking guy. I'm just some fucking guy. I can't speak for you, but I know I'm just some fucking guy. I'm in the deepest, darkest corner and shit,
Yeah, same here. I mean, I've had weird heat. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I've had weird fucking things happen. People come at me privately. People who I uh, nobody in the in the realm that we're talking about exactly, but like people I've known through this community who I trust, who have like come at me with some really heavy like abuse. We'll put it that way, right? And it's like I don't understand why this is such a controversial topic to make people act this way. Like, I kind of get it, but seriously, the way Reset goes about things, he's making a mentality. And this is look, if somebody could say, not just Reset, but let's say somebody says this person's a Satanist. Well, that person is now dehumanized. They're evil. They're a threat. They're harmful, right? When that person may have done anything except for not said the name of your God correctly, or whatever. And that's what we've been observing, is this type of behavior. How many times have you heard the word Satanist be used, or witch, like, really being used?
Well, and not even that.
Right?
It comes down to when, yeah, but also people that, like, and I'm not trying to specifically point this person out, but like Rebel, or people on the low, like the Canada Cuck Boy, where they literally are just making shit up about people at some points, They're literally just making up stories
That
about
happens.
people.
That absolutely happens.
That's the same thing as calling someone a Satanist or calling somebody a witch. That's the same kind of thing. Just making up any kind of lie about them like that. That's on that heavy implication kind of level.
But when you do that, now the listeners, people who like Captain Bullshit, who are not involved except for one of these chat trolls, right? Think of like the 500 people that listen to Reset. These are people who are willing to write emails, who are willing to threaten people. Like, IPS got death threats, bro. Like, heavy death threats. Shit, I wouldn't look. I disagree with a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I would never, ever, ever wish that kind of stuff on somebody, right? Dude, you don't know who we're talking to out here, and for somebody to rally up this pitchfork mob when you dismiss somebody as a Satanist, now there's mentally ill people out there who are now siding with that. Oh, I think he's a Satanist too. Oh, the tribulation is on. We must defend our God. We must go after them. And then those people are going out, putting death threats on people. Like, I've seen it, dude.
Yeah, I know.
And
well,
that's what I'm saying. Like, a year ago, 2 years ago, we were nowhere near that, dude. This community actually was pretty reasonable. I mean, it really was. Nobody was saying, "Oh, I can't talk to you because of your religion." Nobody was calling anybody a Satanist. Nobody was trying to divide and be divisive. And that's something that I think is weird, because that kind of came out of nowhere. And it happened over the past year. I think, and I hate to say it, man, Ronnie and Jason had a big element of that. They had a big part of it.
I know.
Because when they started that, like, what was it, 9 months ago or whatever, calling everybody a shill and everybody a Satanist, right? Then your Brian Ackers showed up. Then your Flat Earth Reset showed up. Then and same with Morgal. Morgal got everybody with the pitchforks trying to say, what was that? He called IPS like a crypto protagonist, Illuminati Mason shill or some shit. Like, do you remember that?
Yeah.
Did like a 3-hour expose. And but he's got that's got 20,000 views. How many out of those 20,000 people are mentally ill? Think about that for a second.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
exactly. Well, I mean, yeah.
No responsibility is what I'm saying. These people don't take any responsibility.
Yeah. And I mean, well, with that being said, I think I gotta wind this show up.
Oh yeah.
I think
wind it down.
I gotta end it here within about like 2 minutes to keep it.
No, you're good. Let's finish it out.
Okay,
so
cool.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, man.
Man, it was an honor to have you on. This was a great conversation. I think a lot of things were brought up here that get right down to the root of a lot of the things that are being discussed in Flat Earth community right now.
Yeah, man, definitely. I'm happy to have me on. It's always good to have a conversation with you, man, especially one-on-one.
Yeah, exactly, man. I definitely consider you one of the top minds out in this whole arena out here. So it's awesome. I really gave my viewers a gem tonight by having you on here, talking about the topics that we did talk about, because these are like the most pertinent, the most relevant topics that are out here right now, because we're on the cutting edge. That's how we roll over here, bro.
Hell yeah, man. I appreciate it sincerely, man. So big shout out to your audience, and I appreciate you, brother.
Thanks, bro. All right. All right. Everyone, it's been great having you guys in here. This has been Validation Boy live stream, December 4th, 2017.